sending him sexually explicit text messages. Court documents also allege Mr. Slipper has misused taxpayer-funded, all claims that he has denied. However, Senior Minister Anthony Albanese says the government's getting on with the job at hand.
Those issues are a matter for Mr. Slipper. There are legal proceedings underway, have commenced. On that basis, it's important that we recognise the separation between the judicial arm and the political arm of the state.
There are no survivors after a Pakistani passenger jet carrying 127 people crashed near the capital Islamabad. More from the BBC's Ali Makboul.
The plane was minutes away from landing into Islamabad's airport when it came down in a violent thunderstorm. It crashed around 10 kilometres from the runway, and eyewitnesses talk of it bursting from the impact. The Pakistan's Interior Minister says there's a possibility there was a fire on board in mid-flight. The flight was operated by Boja Air, a small, newly reopened commercial domestic airline, and this was its first Karachi-Islamabad journey. Its fate will once again raise questions about the safety record of Pakistan's airlines.
A St Albans man is expected to be charged with drink driving after he refused to pull over before crashing his car into 3 taxis at South Yarra. The 32-year-old man was along Chapel Street around 3:30 this morning. He returned a blood alcohol level almost 3 times the legal limit. Police say the man's behaviour put pedestrians and other motorists at risk. 46 new phone hacking lawsuits have been filed against Rupert Murdoch's British newspaper group. Footballers Wayne Rooney and Ryan Giggs are among the latest to sue. The cases bring to more than 100 the total number due to be heard at the High Court in London next year. The scandal has already cost £29 million. Briefly, in other news, police have shot and wounded 2 boys aged 14 and 18 at King's Cross in Sydney after the stolen car they were in mounted a footpath, injuring a woman. And the federal government is set to crack down on a multi-million-dollar rort involving employment services contracts. A review has found companies helping people get jobs are falsely claiming fees. Updating sport, and Hawthorn draftee Brad Hill will make his AFL debut when the Hawks take on the West Coast at Subiaco tonight. Hill, who was picked by Hawthorn in the 2011 draft, weighs just 70 kilos, but makes up for his lack of size with blistering pace. Hawks coach Alistair Clarkson says Hill has earned his spot in the senior team.
We had high hopes that he was going to play senior footy this year. We've seen him progress significantly over the course of last year, and it's not totally unexpected that he's been able to get himself a game this early in the year.
Essendon is accused of putting up smoke screens and trying to downplay their form ahead of this afternoon's clash at the MCG. Blues coach Brett Ratton says the Bombers are going a lot better than they're letting on and will be fierce competitors.
Jetta's the one that has probably got under everyone's guard a bit. Fletcher's the biggest intercepting player in the competition with opposition kicks, so they've got a lot of things going right. Watson's, his clearance and his domination around there is pretty critical as well.
Later this afternoon, GWS plays the Crows in Adelaide. Then tonight, the Eagles host the Hawks and the Lions take on the Suns at the Gabba. News time, 1:05.
Radio Eastern 98.1 Weather Update.
And the Bureau forecast for the remainder of Saturday afternoon is a mainly sunny day, and the outlook for Sunday is partly cloudy. Isolated showers developing in the morning, winds north-northwesterly and a top of 23. For back to work Monday, it'll be a partly cloudy day, scattered showers, winds west-northwesterly and 18. And for Tuesday, cloudy, isolated showers, winds southerly and a top of 17. At the moment, in Melbourne's outer east, it's sitting on 22 degrees. This is Radio Eastern 98.1.
Now it's time to go local for your footy. This is EFL Saturday. Let's jump straight into the warm-up.
Oh yes, and welcome out here to Cheong Park in South Croydon for the big Division 1 clash. It is the Arndale Cup. South Croydon taking on Croydon here at Cheong Park, and we're set for a big day. The debut of Cheong Park, the new refurbished service, I think we can say, gentlemen. And it is, we are video streaming, hopefully, on www.efl.org.au on our YouTube channel. So if you're tuning in from that, for joining us here on our broadcast, and also, of course, on 98.1 Radio Eastern. But here to introduce the team, I'm Ben Waterworth, and we've got a couple of other boys in the caravan today. The EFL caravan is back out, and one of the men is he's Heath Monzone. He will be riding the boundary thanks to Akira Urge and care today, Dyson Baker.
I'll tell you what, it's good to be back to the surface. We really saw Cheong Park last year, but it's absolutely pristine, and I saw both these Arndale Cup games last year, so looking forward to this one, and hopefully what should be a close clash.
Should be a close clash, I should say. These two teams very similarly matched last year, and the big man on the left, it's one of the best performers in the EFL Media Team, according to Denise Waterworth, when I got home after last weekend's game. Peter Baird in special comments, very good welcome to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ben, and good afternoon to all our listeners here. The opening round of the big boys kicking off as North Division 1 starting today. I'm excited. Some traditional rivals facing off. Not only the Arndale Cup clash today between Croydon and big clash, one that spanned more than 50 years, 4 competitions, Noble Park and Baldwin, to see Noble Park unveil their premiership flag out at the bull ring. Yeah, it's going to be a big day out there at Noble Park, so looking forward to hearing how that game goes. Of course, there will be live updates throughout the day right here on EFL Game Day from around the grounds. It's certainly a big day, and all 4 divisions are finally back on board, and I think we're all very, very excited here at the Eastern Football League. Of course, we are out here at South Croydon and Croydon. We're out here at Cheong Park. At 1:30, we'll go through the rest of the games in the Eastern Football League today. But now, gentlemen, between now and 1:30, we're going to have a look ahead to this game between South Croydon and Croydon. And it's a big day, I think, for the South Croydon Football Club. They're back at Cheong Park, of course. Had to play at Hughes Park on the Maroondah Highway last year. And I think that probably had a little bit to do with not having as much success last year. And now they're back here at Cheong Park. And it's a fantastic day for the football club. And Pete, the surface looks immaculate. It looks fantastic. I don't think you'll find a much better surface in the Eastern Football League to play on out here. Starting to rival perhaps the title of the MCG of the EFL.
Yes.
If Walker Park's the MCG, maybe this is the Etihad Stadium, because that's a pristine surface at the moment as well. So, a really great setup they've got out here at Cheong Park at the moment. Beautiful ground conditions, a magnificent day for football as well. You couldn't get better for your local footy.
Well, South Croydon have been one of the bigger clubs and have tasted a lot of success in the past decade or so, Dice, whether it be in the lower divisions, and they're starting to make their way back up to Division 1. Where do you see this club at the moment in terms of making a push and becoming one of the bigger boys in Division 1?
Look, I think they've been there or thereabouts for the last couple of years, and I think ideally, I suppose last year was a success. Keep themselves in the top grade for a couple of years now, and slowly managing to find their feet a bit more. This is their real challenge this year. I think this is where people expect sides like South Croydon to really fire on all cylinders and hopefully finish middle of the table somewhere there. But I think that's where South Croydon are this year. I think they're a developed side. They've picked up a few guys in the off-season, as have a lot of clubs. But
sure.
That's all said and done. That's a development. But I think maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, that middle bracket to hopefully push in the next 2-3 years.
So hopefully it's a big year for the South Croydon Football Club. But while we're on, speaking of Croydon, let's have a talk about the Croydon Football Club, who, of course, a couple of years ago were defeated by Vermont in that Division 1 premiership. But since then, the last couple of years, it really hasn't gone to plan for Croydon. They did make the finals in 2010, but are really disappointing for them last year in 2011 under Brett Chandler, who's back again this year, and Ben Delaroo's back as the South Croydon coach as well. We'll actually have Ben Delaroo right here in the caravan on EFL Game Day at about 1:20. So, Pete, where do you see the Croydon Football Club at? And of course, they're not going to be out at their usual home ground this year. They're the ones who now have to go out to Hughes Park. So, coming off last year, where do you see the Croydon this year? Is it going to be a tough year for them?
I think it is, Ben. Today's a real opportunity against a local rival to kick their season off with a bang. Last year, they were very disappointing. Only 3 wins for the year. They were in the relegation battle all year. They were able to hang on and keep their spot in Division 1. I think they're going to face an uphill battle to do the same this year. They really need to lift today against a side that's rejuvenated, coming back here to their home, their spiritual home at Cheong Park, after facing that real tough turbulence of playing away from home last year. That's what Croydon faced this year. I'm not sure if they'll be able to withstand that same intensity this year. An interesting stat for you, boys. The 3 wins that Croydon had last year, they weren't able to win at any games at all without Damien Cupido up forward. He's missing again today, so it's going to be a huge task for them to try and stave off that South Croydon side with that rejuvenation of playing back here at Cheong Park.
And of course, Damien Cupid are not playing today due to suspension, and a number of times, as you said last year, Pete, he was the guy who basically rescued Croydon off his own back, so he's going to be sorely missed today.
That was probably their big trouble last year. They really struggled to kick a winning score without that big spearhead up there that could kick a big bag of goals. And that's where I think they may fall down today as well, Ben.
Dice, Brett Chandler said he told Connor Ryan from the leader that they're aiming for 6 to 10 wins. There's a big difference between 6 to 10 wins in the Eastern Football League. Of course, we only have 18 rounds. Where do you see Croydon finishing this year in terms of the win-loss ratio?
Look, I had to say, I think they're basically, I reckon they're going to finish 2011. I know that's a really negative negative statement to make, but you can't see where the development's going to come from for Croydon.
So you think they'll consolidate and hold their spot in Division 1 then?
Yeah, I think they'll hold their spot. I don't think they'll go up or down. I reckon they're probably a 10-11 side. I reckon they'll still manage to stay true. And I think the 2 Arndale Cup matches this year will be important for them. Both sides always manage to get up for both of them. And there's a couple of sides that have proven bogey sides over the last couple of years, so they might be able to pick up a couple.
I suppose there's always that hope in their back of their minds, though. A lot of people were tipping Knox last year to be the side to be relegated from Division 1. They surprised everybody, made finals. Really, with a change of game plan, just a fresh approach to playing their football, they were able to come from the bleachers. I suppose that's what Croydon will be looking to do this year, Ben.
I hope so as well. They're a great football club, no doubt about that. And, of course, they've got their new president this year, Darryl Grant, who I saw walking around earlier. Hopefully he's going to come in a few minutes and join us here in the caravan on EFL game day. So looking forward to seeing how they go as well. Let's have a look a bit of Division 1 now, because, of course, we previewed Division 2, 3 and 4 last week. Division 1 kicks off today with a number of games going on around the Eastern Football League. Well, let's probably go through more premiership predictions for this season more than anything else. Right now, Vermont's the talk of the town more than anyone else. So how do we think that? Just quickly, as Ben Delarue is about to join us here in the box, where do we think a premiership victors for Division 1?
I find it really hard to go past anybody other than Noble Park. They've shown they've got the goods over the last 2 seasons. They've gone back to back. I think they can make it a three-peat. They're just so well coached. They've got stars on every line. They've got a really solid committee run down there by Kev Wright, who just has that place running like a well-oiled machine. They're up, they're about, they're confident. They've got that air of arrogance about them a little bit.
A little bit of wobble.
The way they strut around on the field. That's what good sides have. We look at the Collingwoods and Geelongs over the last few years. Hawthorn going back a little while. They should have that quality side like the Bulls are. I think they're going to be hard to beat. I think they can go 3 in a row, Dice.
Yeah, I'm going to go Noble Park. I mean, they've lost a lot of quality. You look at the guys that have gone. Delahunty, Martin and Dixon are probably the 3 main. Dowler in there as well. I mean, the list is endless of guys that have gone to VFL clubs, and also Tory Dixon, who's at the Bulldogs. Pete?
The one thing about Noble Park, though, is they have an uncanny knack of when they lose a quality player to a higher competition like the VFL, they go out and they recruit an exact replacement for him.
Very good.
We look at guys like Luke McLean, who they've recruited from Norwood in South Australia. He's going to be the perfect fit in midfield. So they have that ability about them. They're going to still be up and about. Don't worry about that.
Well, looking forward to seeing how the South Croydon Football Club go about their business today. We're very, very privileged to actually be joined by their senior coach today, who it's a very nervous time this time of game, around about an hour before the game. They've just gone through the team meetings, so it's a big privilege to welcome Ben Delarue into the caravan. Good to see you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. How are you going?
I'm doing okay, doing very well. Most importantly, how are you doing? Again, I'll ask that again because give us an honest answer. Division 1, Round 1, back at Cheong Park for the first time in 12 months. Emotions are going through your head at the moment.
Oh, look, it's just a huge game, isn't it, for the football club? Round 1, Arndale Cup, back on home ground. Probably much bigger, I don't think. So hopefully there's a big crowd today and we put up a good show.
Of course, our broadcast manager, Ben Warren-Smith, came out to Cheong Park earlier in the week, and the first thing he said to me was how good looking this turf was. Just tell us, since coming back, how much of a privilege has it been to be playing on this turf?
It's actually like training on carpet, I think. So the boys just love it. So absolutely love training here, and you know, we've got a lot of proxy. and the guys just love coming back, and they just call it home. So hopefully they put on a good show.
Now, Ben, we speak about rivalries. Rivalries. We speak about the Arndale Cup, and I saw both these games last year. How much does the Arndale Cup matches, the matches against Croydon, really G the side up? Is there really a difference between just your regular home and away match?
Oh, I think there is in a lot of sense. More so probably for the supporters than anything else. And a couple of the older boys, and I use that term lightly, but the Lucas Davies and the Eamon Costellos, guys like that, they've grown up just wanting to play in the Arndale Cup because I heard so much about it. And 2 years ago, we started that. We didn't start off on the right foot, but it doesn't matter who's out and who's in for the sides. There have always been fantastic games. Like we had the draw last year, which was, it was just a cracking game.
Now, Ben, we hear about the guys like that, the guys that have been around the club for so long and how much the Arndale Cup games mean to them. Some of those guys you mentioned are the spiritual leaders of this football club, guys like Eamon Costello. Now, we hear a whisper that this could be his last game for the South Croydon Footy Club today, and what does that mean to the club to get a win for a guy like Ace Costello today?
We're never going to say last game for the club, but he's, shall we say, he's going on a holiday for a little while. Look, Ace is just a fantastic fella, and I said in the team meetings before, I don't think I'm privileged enough or qualified enough to comment on his playing days because I've only seen him for the last 2 years. But just as a person, his character is unbelievable, and what he does for this footy club, the standard that he sets as a person but also as a footballer is just unbelievable. So he's a credit to himself and certainly a credit to the footy club.
Now, let's be completely honest in assessing the way that the South Croydon Footy Club's travelled over the last few years. You've been up in Division 1 for those past couple of years. You've consolidated your spot and you've held your own up there. But looking to take that next step, last year, 4.5 wins for the year. That's probably not going to be good enough if you sat back and assessed at the end of this year. What's your pass mark for the guys at the end of 2012?
Tough call, I think. But I'd like to sort of aim for 7 or 8 wins. And then just see what happens. I think if we get off to a good start, get a bit of confidence going, we've got some really good footballers. Our biggest issue probably over the last 2 years was consistency over 4 quarters. So we're really concentrating on getting that right because we had guys or opposition teams kick 4 or 5 goals on us very, very quickly. But for the rest of the game, we sort of stayed with them. But it was just lapses of concentration that really hurt us, 2 or 3 times throughout a game, and all of a sudden we had a blowout. So hopefully if we can be really consistent, we can sort of boost it up a bit because I believe we've got the ability within the group to be competitive against most sides.
I think you're underselling the talent of this football club a little bit too much. I think you guys are good enough to challenge for playing potentially finals football this year. What do you need to do to get this team to believe that they're good enough to play finals footy in Division 1?
Look, it's a tough question trying to get inside, 22, 25 guys' heads on a weekly basis, and I suppose that's where the successful coaches, that's why they are successful, because they can motivate those players. But I've just seen a real shift in the players' thinking and their thoughts and the way they go about training and practicing and things like that. So I think we're going to see improvement. I'm just hoping there's enough improvement there to sort of challenge for finals.
Now, Ben, one of our favourite players from South Croydon Football Club here in the media team, we love the Zip. We love Zippy King, love seeing him go about his business. How's he been travelling? We know he likes a little bit of limelight. Are we expecting a big game from the great man himself today?
Look, Zip's just a cracker of a fella too. And 2 years ago, he set probably Division 1 alight, I think, in people were just so surprised in how small he was, but his ability to just kick goals. What we need from Zippy, same as the rest of the side, is just to be consistent. And if he does the right things, he'll kick goals. There's no doubt about that.
I'm sure he'll kick plenty of goals throughout season 2012. Ben, we know it's a very stressful time for a coach, so we very much enjoy your company and coming onto the EFL game day today. Good luck for today and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, boys. Have a good call.
Thank you very much to Ben Delarue, the South Croydon Football Club senior coach, and very calm, very composed at this time of game. As I said before, it's a very stressful time for a coach, and this is where I love talking to guys like Brett Davidson and John Brown just to go through what they're sort of feeling at this time of game. Let's have a bit of a tip, a bit of a look forward now to what actually might happen today with between South Croydon and Croydon. After hearing Ben Delarue, has he convinced you that South Croydon might get the chocks today, Pete?
I was convinced on the way here today, driving in the car, and I sat down and thought about this game. South Croydon, it means so much to them to come home here. their spiritual leader over the last few years, Eamon Costello. As he said, he's taking a hiatus away from the club, is the way he described it. We hear he's moving up the country for a little bit, so we'll be playing with a team up in the bush. So I think the boys will live for him. He's been that heart and soul of this football club for so long, and it means something to them. The Arndale Cup on the line means a lot to them as well. Back home here at Cheong, all the reasons point to a South Croydon victory today. Dice?
Yeah, I have to agree. I think along with everything that Pete said, and that more off-field stuff, I think that just on-field they've got more options. They were able to kick more goals. I mean, you go through and there was plenty of times where they managed to kick upwards of 15 goals but still couldn't get the chocolates. I think that's going to be relatively important. And with Damien Cupido, that just out for today, that just sort of emphasises my point that little bit more.
I think we're all unanimous in thinking South Croydon will probably come away with the chocolates. Do you think the home, coming back to the home ground as well, the fortress, it is a bit of a fortress, I reckon, at Cheong Park. It's got a little bit of intimidation factor about it, and just walking through those the club rooms just out here just beforehand is a great vibe about this, and I think everyone's quite excited, don't you think, Pete, for the club just to be back up and about in this ground?
I don't think people understand how hard it is and how much it upsets the fabric of a football club to have to play a season away from your home ground. Go and ask the boys from Wantirna South how they cope with it last year.
This year.
Exactly right. South Croydon had to do that last year. They held their spot, which is credible to them. Back here, this is their home. This is where the South Croydon Football Club lives and breathes. It means so much to them. Back here, playing on familiar surroundings in front of their home crowd, a big crowd here today as well, building up at Cheong Park. It just means so much to this football club.
Well, the last time a game was played here, South Croydon knocked Vermont out of the finals in one of the closest contests. I think it was Sean Kelly who was out there that day. One of the best games he's ever seen in...
what a contrast in surfaces we see as well to what we saw that day out here. It was probably 2 or 3 inches of mud across the whole ground. In that game there, Vermont actually asked the EFL during the week if they could transfer the game to the Vermont Football Club and pay compensation to South Croydon. And fortunately for the Eagles, South Croydon got over the line and Vermont missed the finals for the first time in 20 years.
And there'd be a few guys that would have played a couple of years ago and also are fronting out for today's game. And I think without meaning much, I think it would mean a lot just in terms of playing at home and knowing what you can do at home. There was no real... I went out to Hughes Park last year and there was no real feeling there. It's quite a small ground but a vast space, and when you don't get that many people that want to travel all the way over to Hughes Park, you don't really get that much of a vibe, and I think that's what they've got here.
Well, we've talked a lot about South Croydon and how they can go about their business today, but without Cupido there, are there any specific players that really do need to lift their game for Croydon today, Pete, who just need to take the game by the scruff of the neck, stand up in Cupido's absence? Doesn't necessarily have to be a forward, but who can come to the party and really lift this team?
Well, I think it comes down to probably 2 players. I think it's Grant and Callagher are the 2 boys from to take this team on their shoulders and carry them up over the line if they're going to have any chance of winning today.
Well, of course, Chris Grant has been named in the SEN Division 1 Team of the Year a number of times over the past couple of years, actually. He's been a very consistent member. Was, of course, picked in the squad for the Division 1 and 2 EFL squad. They played against the VAF a couple of weeks ago. We won't talk about that game too much. Gentlemen, let's quickly have a look at some of the other Division 1 games going around EFL grounds today as we just wait for next couple of guests. Hopefully we'll get actually the current captain, Dan King of South Croydon, and the outgoing captain, Eamon Costello, up here in the caravan very soon. So looking forward to them. East Burwood taking on Scoresby today. Greg Fremantle back at the helm there at East Burwood, taking on Scoresby under Scott White. Some pretty important inclusions. Jaden Hogels, brother of Chris Hogel, has come to the club as well. He used to play for the Box Hill Hawks, so big opportunity for him to announce themselves. I've just got the feeling Scoresby to start off this season might be a little bit too strong, even though the big chest Robbie Campbell has come to East Burwood.
I think this is one of those ones that last year, if you had looked at this game, you would have gone Scoresby by 5, 10, 15 goals and sort of write your own ticket a little bit. I think that both these sides have sort of come back to the pack a little bit. Scoresby have lost a few players. They've lost a bit of stability, losing their coach. I think that East Burwood, on the other hand, have picked up a couple of guys. They've managed to structure themselves up a little bit better. They've managed to get better over the last couple of years, and they're starting to develop their younger guys into talented footballers. I still think that Scoresby's going to win, but I don't think it's as clear-cut as you would think.
They haven't lost that much, Scoresby, when you actually look at their outs. The big exclusion for them, the guy going out of the side, is probably Steve Pym, the forward.
Who was out for half the year, or 5 or 6 games last year anyway.
The other guys were sort of in and out of that senior side throughout the year. Guys like James Powell and Jake Ryle, Anthony Vannon. They weren't regular senior contributors. having said all that as well, another huge inclusion for them is Jarrah Goldsack from the Mornington Peninsula Footy League. The brother of Tyson Goldsack, who plays with Collingwood, a fantastic footballer. I think Scoresby are going to be too strong, but don't underestimate East Burwood. I saw them in the last game of the year against Blackburn at Arndale Park. They challenged all day there. They fell away last minute against a side that went deep into the finals last year, played in the preliminary final in Division 1. Another year with Greg Fremantle at the helm. They're going to learn their structures and their matchups a little bit better, but I think Scoresby will win it. But don't underestimate.
Pete sort of seems to waft through the caravan. It's almost playing time. We're certainly looking forward to having a chat to our two next guests. The current captain, the new captain for season 2012, Dan King. But good to see you, Dan.
How's it going, guys?
We're doing okay. And then the outgoing captain, apparently last game. Ben Delarue was happy to say it won't be the last game yet, but really good to see you, Eamon. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good actually. I was nervous early in the week, but it's sort of more excited today about getting in and playing the first. And what is my last game for South Croydon? I've moved up the bush, so
going out to Heathcote near Bendigo.
Yeah,
there?
I've moved up there, living up there, league up there. So.
Eagle Hawk, is that the team that you're going to play for?
Yeah. The rumours going around quick. So.
Big dollars.
Big dollar. big dollar.
Always left us.
Eamon, what is? I know it's hard to describe. You've been here for so many years. What does South Croydon Football Club mean to you?
Oh, it's my life. You know, it's always been my life. It's been I've been at South for 21 years. Wow. If you include juniors, so it's over a third of my life. And it's been my home. I've been lived around everywhere, but I've always had South Croydon as my home, and it's always been my passion. And it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made to leave. But I've got a young family now, and the family has taken over, so it's great.
Now, Eamon, just another one directed at you. We asked Ben what the Arndale Cup means to both South Croydon and Croydon, and he named a few of the older guys in the side. But what is the Arndale Cup, especially round one and everything like that, mean to, I suppose, the older generation of players going through the South Croydon lineup?
Well, as Lucas was saying before, actually, he had a word to us. The build-up when we were coming through juniors, we'd hear about like blokes who'd sort of played premierships and won best and fairest and stuff like that. But the most thing you heard about was about the Arndale Cup. And guys who did this on the Arndale Cup, and the rivalries that they had and the fierceness in the competition. And when we were coming through, we were in third division when we started in seniors, and we'd come up and we'd look at Croydon in first division, and we were like the poor cousin living down the street that they'd always look down on us and stuff like that. So when we got the opportunity to come up and worked our way up in the first division, I think for us, myself personally, just the passion of the old guys of hearing the stories, I want to be able to tell those stories myself, and it's just the fierceness of the competition is fantastic. So.
Now, Dan, the bloke you're standing next to, I've seen a lot of him play football over the years, going through divisions, through Division 3, through Division 2, now into Division 1, really leading this team by example. How do you feel having to take over from a bloke standing next to you that's been the spiritual leader of this football club and be the new captain of this footy club and the new role model for the new guys?
It's going to be tough, no doubt, but I've played with Ace for probably five senior years, 5 or 6 years, so I've learnt from the best, him along with Lucas Davies, the two blokes that rub a lot off on the rest of us half younger blokes now. So, I'm in the right space, been around the right people, so hopefully can do him proud and do the club right.
And what does it mean to this playing group today to go out and get a win for this guy standing next to you?
It's very important. We had a little chat about it through the week, and we know how much it means to Ace and how much Ace it means to the club. So obviously there's that little bit of feeling in it for us, and we don't want to send him off, but if we're going to send him off, it has to be in the right way. So.
Now, the other question I've got for you boys is, we spoke with Ben Delarue and said 4.5 wins last year was good enough to hold your spot in First Division, playing away from home, coming back playing at Cheong Park in front of your home crowd. What's going to be the pass mark for you this year?
I think, when we spoke about it at the season launch, I think it's going to be about improving. We obviously want to improve on last year, but also take some scalps and who knows where it's going to take us. I think it's going to be a lot more even this year, just looking across the boards with the rest of the teams, but basically improving on last year and working up. This is our third year in, and 3 to 4 years, that's when we really want to start pushing and getting towards finals. But it's just more improving at the moment and then seeing where that takes us.
Yeah, I think about taking that next step. Lifting up that level against better sides were competitive for a half, and then they blow us away. So it's about improving and having a great coach in Roo who really knows how to push us and stuff. And it's just about matching it with those better sides, not getting blown out of the water, and then getting the wins when.
Ace, you're also kicking yourself, just one final one, you're kicking yourself that, you know, you mean so much to the club and you'll miss the club and the people around the club. It looks so good.
As I said, I've played 14 years of senior football on this ground and it's never looked so good in my life. Yeah. I did live just down the road, and every day I'd come up or drive past it, getting redone. And during summer I was coming up on it, and it was really hard to leave because, one, I love the club, but the ground's in such good nick, and it's going to, as you can see, they've done a really good job, and it's going to stay like that for a long.
Hopefully you're able to make the most of the turf today and get plenty of the ball and help your team to a victory. So thanks for all you've done in the Eastern Football League over the years. You're a very, very good player, a legend of not the South Croydon Football Club. It's been a pleasure to watch you in the Eastern Footy League. So good luck today and good luck for the future.
Thank you very much.
And Dan, thanks for coming into the box. I know it's a very stressful time. First day as captain of the South Croydon Football Club. Good luck to you and good luck for the rest of the year as well.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Dan King and Eamon Costello joining us here on EFL Game Day. Very stressful time, as we said, so we do appreciate the guys coming in to the caravan as we speak. Having a look at the scoreboard, it's in the reserves quickly before we throw back to the break. It's
close one.
129-8, I think, is the score at three-quarter time in favour of South Croydon. So not a bad one start for South Croydon so far. We're going to go to a break here on EFL Game Day. Certainly looking forward to going through all the Division 1 games and all the Division 2, 3 and 4 games right after the break, right here on EFL Game Day.
Like what you hear on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM? Why not support the work of volunteers by becoming a member of our radio station? Your membership helps us to ensure that we continue to provide this local radio service of community information sharing and good music programs. To find out more about membership or to be sent an application form, telephone Radio Eastern on 9722 9981 or visit our website www.radioeastern.com.au.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Now, are you in desperate need of some windows, but your budget is too tight? Then never fear, because the team at TMB Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. They have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget, and you'll still have some spare change to finish off all those renovations. They're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give them a call on 8727-7506. That's 8727-7506. T&B Window Warehouse, part of EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport.
Connect East, the owner and operator of Eastlink, is proud to be a major partner of the EFL Eastlink Road Safe program, along with the EFL Road Safe, RACV and the Hawthorn Football Club. As the operator of one of Melbourne's safest roads, Connect East knows the importance of reaching out to young motorists about road safety. In 2011, hundreds of players and officials from EFL clubs will attend these road safety sessions and walk away better equipped to make driving decisions when behind the wheel. Connect East, the owner and operator of Eastlink, proud supporters of Radio Eastern and the Eastern Football League. Thought that outbreak was never going to come. I am starving, Benny, and it's your shout for a change. Where are we going?
Mate, we're staying local and we're heading out to the Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone to get our chops around an 18-hour slow-cooked steak.
Not really after the steak at the moment, mate. What else have we got?
Mate, it is simply the best steak on the planet, but if you have to go past it, try their great range of sensational salads, burgers, wraps, and a terrific light options menu. So there's something to please everybody eating.
better every time you describe it. But are we going to have to book ahead?
It'd be wise, mate. So phone ahead at Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone Shopping Centre on 9887 4555. That's 9887 4555. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner, and groups are most welcome.
Well, that settles it. We're off to Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
Yes, welcome back to EFL Game Day out here at Cheong Park today. The big Arndale Cup clash between South Croydon and Croydon. I'm Ben Waterworth, joined by Dyson and the man who does milk cows for a living. Very good to see Peter Baird in here. Thank you very much to Darren McKenzie from the Loft Productions for his work. Of course, Pete, at the end of the year, will be moving down to the farm. You'll do a fantastic job down there, Pete. But to more serious matters now, it is time to welcome our next guest. He's from the Croydon Football Club, if I'm not mistaken, first year as the senior club president. So it's great to have in the EFL caravan, Daryl Grant.
Good afternoon, boys, and thanks for having me here.
Pleasure to have you in the caravan as well. How are you feeling first year as a Croydon president? South Croydon, enemy territory. Well, plenty of emotions, I reckon.
It is, I suppose, and they had to go through this last year, and now we're following their footsteps this season coming on. Obviously, there's been a few challenges that are unusual to the lead up to the season, but I think the whole committee, the playing group, the people involved around the club have all done a marvellous job at this stage, and it's obviously still a few teething problems for us until we get going round one next week at our home ground, Hughes Park, obviously.
I was about to mention that. You said before that you're going through what South Croydon had to go through last year playing out at Hughes Park. How's that move been, and having training out there, how's that all going?
Well, we don't train out at Hughes Park. We train at Fred Gill Oval behind the running track there in Croydon.
Oh, yep.
That's probably a transition in the whole event that is a little bit awkward. The fact is you don't get that opportunity to get the feel about your actual ground you're going to play on game day. But we have to confront that, and we will, and it's not an issue to the boys, I'm sure. Look, ground changes every week, so that doesn't matter. You come here to play footy or you haven't. So
on field, it's not an issue. How has it been off field, Darryl? Just trying to, I suppose, adjust the committee to getting used to moving things and the logistics of moving barbecues, and I think
those challenges are about to hit us. And just for example, setting up the canteen, your food and beverages throughout the day. We have to obviously transfer most of that each game day. Each home game. But look, we're still not 100% sure. Round one, as I said, is next week, and that will be a challenge for us and a telling point as to whether or not we're prepared or not. But I believe we've done the right things, put it in place. I've actually had communication with South Croydon, have been fantastic on about how they went about it. So I think they've been very helpful, and it made our probably transition a little bit easier than probably what they had. So.
And just in terms of getting supporters and the like down there, is there anything you've tried to start up this year just to try and get a few more people through the gates on a weekly basis on home games?
Or? Look, there is actually. We've incorporated in some of our memberships some specials, for example, like a separate parking area for guys who take on certain memberships in our ground for around the ground. So it is a little bit awkward because they've changed the structure of the ground with regards to car parking around it. So you actually you can't get as many cars or that. So you have to access it by foot only. So there's a few challenges in that department. But look, other than that, it's just more or less trying to sell the club and what we're trying to do and go about and how we are to try and encourage people to get to be
follow
behind
the
us.
club regardless.
Look, Croydon people are like that. So.
Now, Daryl, the club has a rich history. The 106th season of the Croydon Footy Club this year. You must be very proud to take the reins of this club. How did you end up in the role of president first year this year?
Well, what actually happens is obviously people have their time at the office, and Dave Green, who has represented the club unbelievably well for the past 4 years or 5 years, it was time for a change from his perspective. He just felt we needed fresh blood around the area, just because that does it. It introduces new ideas and new suggestions, and we bring them to the committee, and then hopefully we can advance and improve on what the people previous have put in front of us. So, and to me, to follow in his footsteps, they're pretty big footsteps, but it's going to be a challenge, and we're looking forward to it. So
now, on a playing more of a playing perspective, there's 3 boys actually running around in your reserves out there today that I wanted to ask you about. 3 guys, I believe, from the Tiwi Islands.
That is correct, yes. We have 3 Aboriginal boys. They arrived here on Monday night. I picked them up from the airport about 11:30.
Staying at your place?
Yeah, they're staying at my house. So I've got a few extra mouths to feed. But look, they're probably still adjust. They're going to have to take a few games to adjust. But as kids themselves, they are fantastic. You know, like you couldn't have asked for anything better. They're right into it. They're right into their footy. They absolutely love it. And you know what it is? It's the culture that they bring to the Croydon. They're going to learn a lot from. It's just sitting around and talking to the boys and the players and listening to how they go about things at home. One boy's Dion, the Solida boy. He's actually off the mainland but lives on the island. So there's 2 boys from Melville Island and 1 from Bathurst Island. And they've both got different cultures within themselves too. Different cultures amongst themselves as much they're on the one island.
Now, it's a fantastic initiative from Croydon. How did this relationship get established, and how did Croydon get involved with 3 young lads from far north Australia?
Well, actual fact that Brett Chandler, our senior coach for the past this year and past year, has actually had a little bit to do with a gentleman who's had a lot to do by Mick Hodges, and he's brought down quite a few Indigenous boys and have played all over Victoria and country Victoria. And it was a lead up to that. We were just communicating with the boys. Their footy season's finished. And they look for the challenge of coming down here to have a play and expose themselves to closer to the AFL, I suppose, in some cases, if that's their opportunity they're looking for. If not, it's just to play footy and get to learn about our culture in on the mainland.
So how long are they actually here for, Daryl?
Look, it all depends on how they feel and whether they're comfortable. Obviously, we're trying to make them feel as comfortable as possible, and they can play the whole season. If they're comfortable here and at my house and around the footy club and around Melbourne, and then I think they'll spend the whole year here playing footy for Croydon Football Club.
I think that there'll be fantastic opportunity for them to play footy, but I suppose the most difficult thing for them is to just adjust to the Melbourne lifestyle. It's just so different. You go into Outback Northern Territory, and it is unbelievable the difference in culture and lifestyle. Any special measures in trying to sort of get them involved in the Melbourne lifestyle?
Yeah. Well, what we've actually done, I've been lucky enough. I spoke to Alistair Clark from the AFL. Now I've got to sit down and have a proper chat with him just to because they're obviously done that at a much higher level, but they actually understand exactly what needs to be happening because they've experienced it enough now. So we're hoping to be able to sit down with them and just get some better ideas. But at this stage, it's more or less. We're lucky we've got a lot of tradies around the club, so we're hoping to be able to feed them out and let them gain some experience in something they may never do while they're down here. So as much as it's going to be different, but it's also an opportunity for them to learn about the things that we can try and teach them.
Have they ever been to Melbourne or a big city like this before?
I believe all 3 boys have. Dion and Joseph, those 2 boys came down and spent a winter down here at Ballarat. And so
that's a different experience and a half.
That's exactly right. But they treasured that moment, and that I think that's what's opened the door for them or encourage them to come back and have another go. So
well, we're all blown away here. It's a fantastic initiative, and we're really proud of the Eastern Football League that Croydon have taken on this. So congratulations to you, Daryl, on that. Good luck for the rest of today and for the rest of the season, and thanks for joining us in the EFL Caravan.
Thank you very much, boys. Have a good day.
Daryl Grant, the president of the Croydon Football Club, much appreciated coming in at this very stressful time, and that's fantastic to hear about that kind of stuff, Pete. With the Indigenous program, getting the boys from the Tiwi Islands, that's really good, and hopefully some other clubs will be able to follow in the footsteps. It
just shows how football can transcend communities, and how important local football is, not only to these guys out there playing football, but to the community in general, to offer those guys the opportunity to come down here, experience life in a big city, play football away from home. A fantastic initiative, and I reckon more clubs should get on board and try and get something like this going themselves.
Well, we've got over 15 minutes, I should say, to go through the entire Eastern Football League games, gentlemen. So not too long on each game. We're pretty unanimous that Scoresby will probably win today in a close one. Lilydale taking on Knox. Lilydale up from Division 2 at the Lilydale Sports Oval, Dice.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think on a small ground, I'm going to go Knox. I just think they can contain Lilydale well, and I reckon Knox in a reasonably close one.
I'm not going to be happy with my TPO. I think Lilydale can surprise them. I think they were the revelation in Division 2 last year, and I think they just might catch Knox unawares today. I'm going to tip
They're a good side, Lilydale. Watch out for them in Division 1 this season. Blackburn taking on Norwood. Of course, we had Norwood on the huddle on Wednesday night. The two boys there thinking Blackburn will start this one off with a victory at home.
Yeah, Blackburn should be at home, but I think Norwood are one of those surprise packets. They might be able to just sneak into a final spot come the end of the year.
A new look Blackburn Footy Club this year. They've lost a lot. They've picked up a lot as well. I think they'll be good enough to beat Norwood today.
Of course, Peter Banfield taking the reins there at Blackburn. Noble Park going for back-to-back-to-back. See if they can do that this season. They're taking on a brand new looking Baldwin as well under new coach Daniel Donati. Think Baldwin are a good chance to upset Noble Park here, Dice.
Always a really good game, whether it's at Cherry Road or at Pat Wright Senior, and I think it's one of those games that could go either way. I think Noble Park should get the points, but it should be a close, high-scoring encounter.
This game's out at Noble Park today.
Yep.
For that reason, I'm going to tip Baldwin, because these sides have shown in the past few years that they win away from home.
Yep.
Baldwin knocked off Noble Park last year at Noble Park. Noble Park knocked off Baldwin at Cherry Road, and they've done that for the last couple of years. I'm tipping Baldwin in an upset.
So Vermont taking on East Ringwood, the final game in Division 1. The new look Vermont under new coach Chris Barlow. I think Vermont will win this one, but I've got a feeling that East Ringwood could be a bit of a smoky in Division 1 this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the changing of the guard cup this weekend. I think, Bernie Dunedin at the helm of East Ringwood and Chris Barlow at the helm of Vermont. This one could be very interesting. I think with the guys that they picked up, and Heath Black's going to be a very, very handy inclusion, as well as a few other guys that they picked up. I think Vermont at home.
We might label it the EFL Makeover Cup. I'm going to tip Vermont in a close one.
Thank you, Peter Baird. On to Division 2. Bayswater taking on Montrose. Both teams with winning last weekend. Montrose a little bit easier. I think Montrose, that's just a hunch though more than anything else.
Yeah, look, saw Sean Leach on Facebook just giving this one a little bit of a rap, and he just stuck a few jabs into the Montrose boys. But there's a fair bit of feeling between these two. I saw a couple of these games over the last few years, and I think on this one I'm going to go Bayswater just.
I'm going Montrose. They played in the grand final last year. They haven't given me any reason not to tip them. I'm going to stick with Montrose.
Donvale taking on Mulgrave. Donvale and Mulgrave, both having close losses last weekend. At home, I just think Donvale will probably get the chocolates, but Mulgrave looked pretty impressive last week.
We saw some improvements from both sides last week. I think Donvale at home.
I'm going Mulgrave, boys. I thought they really took it up to one of the powerhouse sides in Roval last week. I think they'll be too good for Donvale today.
The Waverley Blues taking on Doncaster. Andrew Trinquilli against Bayswater last weekend. Of course, Doncaster coming up from Division 3 into Division 2, playing a top quality side in Bayswater. This is a really tough one to tip. I thought Doncaster win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Doncaster. They held Bayswater for 3.5 quarters and couldn't manage to get the points in the end. Right throughout last week's game, as well as the man Chris Anarkis, who is just on fire so far this season. I reckon they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, we said Doncaster held Bayswater for 3 quarters. The Waverley Blues were in front of Mirrabah at halftime last week. Both these sides put incredible performances, but I think Doncaster were more impressive in their performance. I'm going to tip Doncaster. I'm with you boys on this one.
Peter Baird's Roville takes on Upper Ferntree Gully. Good to see Matty Petrarca kicking 4 goals last week as well. I think Roville, they look set. I reckon they're set for a big season this year. I'm leaving Pete totally out of this. I reckon Roville, I think, are set for a big season and probably will get a good win here today.
Yeah, as much as Upper Ferntree Gully are going to be there or thereabouts, they've been competitive over the last couple of years. I reckon they're set for a bit of a spike, but I can't go past Roville.
Grant Noonan out of the Upper Ferntree Gully side with a knee injury. A huge loss for them. It's missing at centre-half
That's
forward.
like a Cupido to Croydon.
Roville will win this one on the back of that, and they should win quite comfortably.
Last game in Division 2, Doncaster East taking on Mooroolbark. Not the greatest start for Paris Harbour in the Doncaster East Football Club. Mooroolbark, bit of a wake-up call. Maybe interesting to know if leave it up to anyone's opinion there, if we think that Mooroolbark probably got a little bit ahead of themselves last weekend. They ran it quite close, but I just think Mooroolbark will be way too strong at Zerbies today.
Yeah, as much as they're premiership hopefuls and premiership favourites, I'm going to tip Mooroolbark.
Yeah, Mooroolbark for mine.
That was Division 2 done and dusted. Moving on to Division 3, as I just flicked my record to the opening game, which is the Glen Waverley Hawks taking on Chernside Park. What a fantastic start for the Glen Waverley Hawks last weekend, getting a victory over Wantirna South. Of course, Division 4 2011, beating Division 2 2011. A great start for the Mick Gall and the Hawks there, and I think they'll probably go 2 from 2 here, Dice.
Yeah, look, I can't see. It's going to be close, but I can't see Chernside Park getting up, especially with Glen Waverley Hawks at home. Hopefully, to make it 2-2 in Division 3.
You said that Mirrabah had a bit of a wake-up call last week. The Glen Waverley Hawks were 41 points in front at three-quarter time to only win by 4 points after Wanty South hit the lead in the last quarter. They got a huge wake-up call in about third division footy. They'll be switched on for the and they will win this one quite comfortably, I believe.
Two of the lower probably ranked teams, I think it's fair to say, in Coldstream and Warrandyte in Division 3. Interesting. Price played and coached last weekend and kicked a couple of goals as well. Notice he wasn't in the best players. Interesting to see if he's actually doing the best players. Opens with that one, but Coldstream's Matt Price. They host the Bloods today. Warrandyte, not a bad effort by the Bloods in the end. Really. Morello kicking 9 goals, if you don't mind. Lost a lot of weight over the pre-season. Tough one to tip, but it's a big travel out to Coldstream. It's a huge... I think Matty Price's boys might do this one.
Yeah, look, can't go past Coldstream at home. That's probably the only reason they're going to get away. It's probably the disappointment cup. Both these sides really didn't live up to expectation over the last couple of years. So, but I mean, hopefully Pricey can get if Morello gets away early, then he could be hard to stop. But I think Coldstream at home for mine.
Looking at last week's results, I just think Warrandyte were more impressive than Coldstream were. Morello's 9 goals. I'm not sure if Coldstream have the defender to go with Magic Morello. For that reason, I'm sticking with the Bloods. Warrandyte should win this one.
I think it should be a good game nonetheless as well. Two teams probably at a similar development stage, so looking forward to seeing the result at the end of the game. Of course, there will be live updates here on EFL Game Day from all EFL grounds. The Parker Family Cup today, Dyson. Ringwood taking on Heathman, of course, named after the Parker family, who have done fantastic things for both both these football clubs, Pete.
The last time these two sides clashed, 1976, boys, Ringwood played Heathmont.
That was the last time they clashed.
So it's the last time the Parker Family Cup was on offer. So it's going back a long time. These two clubs have a rich history and a rich rivalry against each other.
And since then, of course, Rob Parker and Joe Parker have been presidents of the Heathmont Football Club. Gordon Parker, big affiliation with Ringwood, as well as being the EDFL president in the mid-1980s. So a big day for these two clubs as well. I was torn between this one. It was probably one of the hardest games to tip, I think, out of the entire games on offer around the Eastern Football League today. But just checking in the end, I was one of the few that actually went for Heathmont. I think Heathmont got a little bit more firepower up forward.
Yeah, look, I mean, we saw Mitcham Ringwood. That was obviously the radio game last week, local rivalry and everything like that. And there's a lot of feeling between these two sides. I mean, if Heathmont were to lose 17 games of the year and they were to win, 16 games of the year and to beat Ringwood twice during the year, they'd be happy with it because there is a couple of players would be, just because there's so much feeling between. I mean, guys have gone to high school together and things like that. But look, I think I'm going to tip Ringwood just through home ground advantage. I think at H.A. Parker, I think they'd be able to structure up a lot better Heathmont. Having said that, if Sheeny can get away early and kick a couple in the first couple of quarters, then he could be very, very hard to stop. But Ringwood for mine, just.
Yeah, I think Ringwood will win this one as well. On the wide open spaces of Jubilee Park, we saw their run and spread in patches against Mitcham. They looked really good when they were able to get out into space. I think they will run the Heathmont side off their legs for that reason. Nick Tennant's got this side really fit. At Walker Park in the smaller confines, they were shut down and bottled up by Mitcham. That won't happen at Jubilee Park, and Ringwood should defeat Heathmont today at Jubilee Park. I think he will.
Yeah, of course, Nick Tennant. Of course, Peter Bear going with the early call that Nick Tennant wouldn't play last week, but ended up lining up at full forward. So good afternoon to Nick Tennant if he is listening. Templestowe taking on the Wanturna South Football Club. It's the next match in Division 3. Disappointing start, to say the least, for Templestowe last weekend.
And Wanturna South.
And Wanturna South. They showed a lot of guts, I think, in the last quarter. They were competitive, I think, is the right. They should have won, I think, just going on positions from last year. But I still think the Templestowe were probably a little bit more disappointing just in terms of their score more than anything else and what they were able to actually put up. I think Templestowe will bounce back this week, though.
Apparently, according to Dad, Templestowe looked very, very ordinary last week. Weren't hitting targets. Eccles got very, very frustrated during the second term and just couldn't find any of the ball. And Eccles is one of those guys that if he stands up in the first quarter and can kick a couple, he can run on and kick 9. If he doesn't, he's sort of looking at 3 or 4 and really isn't much in the game. But I think, on the other hand, these are two sides that we expect to play top 5 footy. towards the end of the year. We expect them to play finals, and I think one of those sides really needs to stand up this week and demonstrate that. I think it'll be Templestowe at home.
After the performances last week, if we're labelling this the rivalry round in the AFL, this one's the wake up or the reality check cup. I think Templestowe will bounce back. I think John Brown won't stand for that performance he got from the Dockers last week. They will be more switched on this week. Their class will shine through, and I think they'll get over the line against Swanee South.
The biggest game, definitely, though, in Division 3 is, of course, the clash between Boronia and North Ringwood at Tormore Reserve, two of the big boys in Division 3. These are large specimens, gentlemen. Boronia taking on North Ringwood. North Ringwood for mine. Just a statement they made last weekend. I know it's against a weakened Whitehorse Pioneers lineup, but I just can't go past North Ringwood here.
This is what North Ringwood need. They had Whitehorse Pioneers and got over them quite comfortably. They need a challenge early just to see exactly where they're at. I think Brett Moyle really needs to know where this side's at in terms of their headspace. We know they can win during the home and away season, but this is where they need to get off to a good start against a quality side and sort of run with it for the rest of the year.
Yeah, they showed they were a class above Boronia last year. I think they are still a class above, and I'm tipping North Ringwood to win comfortably.
And, of course, Will Taylor's just ridden his bike down to Tormore Reserve today, and he will be covering that match on EFL Game Day. So it is all downhill. Dyson right here on EFL Game Day. Last game, interesting game this one. The Whitehorse Pioneers at home to Mitcham at Walker Park. And on that fact, I think I'll tip Mitcham.
Yeah, look, I mean, it makes it very, very handy when you get to play an away game at home. I'm going to go with Mitcham. Just the way they structured up last week was absolutely perfect. They managed to get over the line in the second half against Ringwood and managed to run away with it. Whitehorse Pioneers, we haven't seen anything in the last couple of years to demonstrate any real development. I think Mitcham for mine.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mitcham. They were impressive last week. I'm just interested to know how the logistics are going to go out there at Walker Park. Will Mitcham be in the away rooms and Whitehorse taking over the home rooms? And will Whitehorse be running their canteen and looking after their social club for the day?
Very interesting. I'm sure Graham McCallum and Matty McCubbin down there will have it all covered. All covered, I should say. Just quickly, gentlemen, some one-sentence tips in Division 4. Canterbury taking on Kilsyth. I think Kilsyth, but Canterbury will give it a good show.
Yeah, Kilsyth for mine.
Canterbury at home.
Ferntree Gully Eagles taking on the South Belgrave Football Club. Your bestie, Nick Cox there. Ferntree Gully at home.
Ferntree Gully for the Colby Cup.
Colby Cup on the line, as you said.
What is the Colby Cup?
Named after a family up at South Belgrave that played a lot of South Belgrave Football Club. That's up on the rivalry was the cup was established a couple of years ago when South Belgrave joined the Eastern Football League. So I think South Belgrave will be too good for Ferntree Gully.
Forest Hill taking on the Basin. A good start for the Basin last weekend with a really good win over the Ferntree Gully Eagles, even though this one is at Forest Hill Reserve. I think the Basin with Michael Glassborough's boys will probably get the chocolates here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go against them. They're a quality up-and-coming side, and they should challenge this year.
Yeah, I think the Basin should win this one.
Nunawading taking on the Surrey Park Football Club, the smallest ground in the Eastern Football League. Apparently, Peter, this one is out at Nunawading. Surrey Park, a lot of people think Surrey Park is due. Can they break that 50-game barrier? I'm not sure. Think Nunawading, though, at home.
I think this is one that Surrey Park might be able to pip out of the hands of Nunawading. I mean, we're all waiting for them to play Eastern Lions and Park Orchards, those lower place side. Having said that, Park Orchards really came out last week and demonstrated what they're worth. But I think this is one where they might just pip the Nunawading side early. Nunawading might have written this one in, but I reckon Surrey Park for mine.
I'm with you, Dice. I'm going to put it on the line now. Surrey Park will win this game of football today. They will win this game of football. They've labelled this one as their big opportunity. They'll break the hoodoo. 61 games they've lost. This is the win today.
Well, Connor Ryan was very confident in tipping Surrey Park on during the week. So hopefully for the Surrey Park Football Club, they finally break through. Final game in Division 4, gentlemen. The Eastern Lions taking on Park Orchards out at Lewis Park. They're at Ferntree Gully. Best start possible for Park Orchards last weekend. Three wins from 3 games, under-19s, reserves and seniors. I just think, though, going out to Lewis Park, I think Eastern Lions might do it with the home ground advantage.
Yeah, look, you'd love to say that it might be a bit of a fairy tale. I think it'll be a close one. The Eastern Lions have a lot of stronger bodies, and that's what they pride themselves on over the last few years. But I think I'm going to go with Park Orchards just with a little bit more run.
Yeah, the Brisbane Bears won their first 2 games in the AFL as well. Park Orchards will win their first 2 games. They'll win today.
Someone was obviously listening to Mark Fine's show on Thursday night. A very good afternoon to Mark Fine, who's down at Sylvan today, apparently, even though they have the bye. Not quite sure how that works out. That's all.
Just gone down for a look.
Just had gone down for a quick geeze. You won't find much, though. Nothing going on at Sylvan Recreation Reserve today. That is all on EFL, the warm-up on the game day preview here. Ben Warren-Smith is going to jump in the chair. It's almost time to... almost time... Oh, you're kidding me, Darren. Some of your sharpest. Ben Warren-Smith is going to jump in the host chair now and bring you all the action here from Cheong Park as South Croydon take on Croydon in the Arndale Cup. Thanks for tuning in from 1 till 2 p.m, but stick around after the break because Ben Warren-Smith and Brad Henderson, who's just walked into the caravan, will bring you all the action right here on EFL Game Day.
Hi, this is Graham Lake. If you like relaxing music over lunch, then every Tuesday, tune in to the Tuesday Lunch Spot between 11 and 1. I will be your host with Joan Basford taking the chair every fourth week. We look forward to your company. That's every Tuesday between 11 and 1.
If you have an account, Eastlink car tolls are discounted by 20% every weekend. This makes Eastlink an even better way to get to and from your weekend footy game. For more details, visit eastlink.com.au. Connect East, the owner and operator of Eastlink, is a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Now, in the past, immediate medical treatment for an unexpected injury has not been possible. But now you can avoid long waits in hospitals thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in emergency clinic. Akira treats fractures, sprains, wounds and illnesses in under an hour, which means less time on the sidelines. So if you ever receive an unexpected injury, walk into Akira Urgent Care on 157 Scoresby Road in Boronia. Check them online at akiraurgentcare.com.au. Urgent Care, your health, your destiny.
Looking for that perfect steak to sink your teeth into? Then Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone to get your 18-hour slow-cooked steak fix. While it's simply the best steak on the planet, if you have to go past it, try their great range of sensational salads, burgers, wraps, and a items menu, so there's something to please everyone's tastes. Hog's Breath Cafe has a distinctive style for people who enjoy casual Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone Shopping Centre. Phone 9887 4555. That's 9887 4555. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner, and groups are most welcome. Hog's Breath Cafe, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, you can take this one. Highway Ferntree Gully for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round.
Put your headsets on.
To our more footy.
Huh? Welcome out to Cheong Park in South Croydon for the big Arndale clash between South Croydon and Croydon this afternoon. Round 1 in Division 1 this afternoon, and we're looking forward to an absolute ripper match. If you look out from where the caravan position is here, the ground looks magnificent. And, well, Peter Baird, what an exciting day for both clubs this afternoon.
Yeah, we've gone through the history of this Arndale Cup. It means so much to both these footy clubs. It's a fantastic, real bumper crowd. The crowd's really building up. I'm quite surprised at the number of people out here at South Croydon. So if you're in the area, get down here, bring your transistor with you, tune in 98.1 for EFL Game Day. We're going to be broadcasting live right here all the way through to 6 p.m.
We're streaming this afternoon as well, aren't we?
I believe we are, and could be video streaming as well. So log on to the EFL website, www.efl.org.au. You'll catch a video streaming of the game. if you can't get out here to Cheong Park.
Ben Waterworth will be bringing us all the around-the-ground scores throughout the afternoon. Please send your scores through to us as well. It's very important that we get them across the air to all the fans listening into the broadcast this afternoon, welcoming a man who's pretty much now the grandfather of the Eastern Football League. He's more or less been around the longest, and it's great to have him in a position this afternoon for the first game in Division 1 that the team's going to broadcast this year. It's a very happy new year, and welcome back to the team, Brad Henderson.
Benny, and great to be back for season 2012. Really looking forward to the season and especially today. First thing I thought when I walked back was Cheong Park. Look, it's definitely had a pretty big makeover the last couple of years, and it has come up an absolute treat. So there'll be no excuses for the players today. Good conditions. It's pretty warm. Great conditions for watching football, but I reckon for the players, they're going to find the work pretty hard. We often see it, Ben, in round one, as fit as everybody is, when they haven't played football for 7 months, they do find come the last quarter that the leagues get pretty tired, and it takes a little while to work their way back in. So I think it'll be a war of attrition today, Ben.
Well, we witnessed that a little bit last week at Mitcham, didn't we, Peter Baird? We saw in the last quarter players from both sides cramping up a little bit in the last quarter, so expect them to be running hard. Big score. The game's actually over here in the reserves match at South Croydon, and a big score's been kicked by the home side too, 25-14, 164. Defeated Croydon. They only managed the one goal for the afternoon. They kicked 1-2-8. So in the perfect conditions, Pete, well, there's going to be a big score kicked today.
There's no reason why either team shouldn't have any problems in kicking goals today. Not a breath of wind out there. A beautiful ground condition, as we've said. But how great is it to have the accurate one, Brad Henderson, joining us on the call today. I always feel so much safer with you beside me, Brad, in the commentary box. You are the accurate one of the EFL commentary team.
Oh, thanks, Peter. Thanks very much for that. It's rather be called the accurate one and the grandfather of the team, as Ben said before.
Take it as a compliment, mate. Let's move it along to another man who joined us last week. He did a terrific job on the match stats, and it was we had to get him back for the Division 1 clash, and he's a little bit closer to us this week. We can actually see him, so it'll be a little bit easier this afternoon, but it's a very good afternoon to you, Grant Campbell.
Good afternoon, Ben, and don't think I've ever seen you with a bigger smile on your face after race 3 in Sydney today.
Oh, it was an exciting day, wasn't it? One of my old man's horse actually got up, Brad, this afternoon.
Oh, fantastic.
Won the race 3 in Sydney, so there's a few happy people here in the caravan, and hopefully we can get a few tips through down the line and maybe load up, double up. That's all we want to do. But Grant Campbell, there's been plenty of things happen off the summer. We go on stats generally early on in the season about what happened last year, and take us through how either of these sides can win today.
Well, going by last year, we probably can expect a very close and perhaps low-scoring match. Quarters won. South Croydon had won 25 quarters last season, Croydon 24, so not much difference there. They were both low-scoring, Croydon averaging 71 points a game, South Croydon 82. Of course, what contradicts that point, though, is the draw these two sides had when South Croydon kicked their highest score of the year and they finished 136 all. So it'll be interesting to see if it is in fact a low scoring like it was most of the time last year, or a large scoring game like that draw in the game last season.
Yeah, a big stat you haven't mentioned there though, Grant Campbell. The 3 wins Croydon had last year were all games when Damien Cupido played. He's not playing for them today, and that could be the X factor for South Croydon.
Well, that's a good point you make. He was the over-reliant, perhaps, goal kicker for Croydon, and they'll need certainly to find other avenues to go if they're going to win today, as you said.
Text in your scores all through the afternoon on 0410 495 582. I know I said it quickly, so I'll repeat it, 0410 495 582. Ben Waterworth is all over the phone lines. He's getting all the scores in, sending them out on Twitter and giving us plenty around the grounds action throughout the afternoon. Let's cross boundary side to, our Akira boundary riders this afternoon. We've got another grandfather, but he's so young, but he looks old down there, and he's got a new member of the EFL Media Team this afternoon with him, and it's a very good afternoon. We'll start with you, Dyson. Dyson Baker's down there with Natalie Ioannidis.
Yeah, look, it's a big day. I mean, not only is it round 1 in Division 1 football, but we've got a couple of new recruits at the helm, and pretty excited to have you on board, Nat.
Thanks, boys. How are you all today?
Oh, we're fantastic to have you on board, Nat, and welcome to the team this afternoon. You're a bit spoilt, really. A Division 1 game first up on the boundary line with Dyson Baker on a surface that looks absolutely magnificent. What are the conditions like down at ground level?
Well, the conditions are absolutely spectacular today, really. I mean, there's absolutely no wind. It's pretty much blue skies out here, and I'm just hoping for hope it holds out for the rest of the match.
Let's get your tips while we're down there, because we will run through everybody's tips. The Akira Boundary Riders this afternoon. Natalie, I believe that you're taking care of the South Croydon Football Club this afternoon. Are you going to back them?
Yeah, I think that they'll probably get up today.
Oh, Dyson Baker over with the Croydon boys. What do they have to do to get up today, mate?
Yeah, I'll take Croydon. I mean, there's a lot of... they've got to find a forward option. That's pretty much the main thing, as Pete said, and also a few other guys up there have said as well. I think that's be their main key. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll be able to do that. I think South Croydon at home for their first game back on Cheong Park, they'll get the points.
Tough one for Grant Campbell this afternoon, who lives right in the heart of Croydon. He actually barracks for Carlton too, so he's probably got a fondness for the jumper that Croydon will be wearing. Who are you going after this afternoon, Soupy?
Well, I did play juniors at Croydon, but no, I'm going to go for South Croydon today. I've also got split allegiances because my cricket coach, Eamon Costello, is playing his last game for South Croydon, so I'll go for the home side by 2 goals.
He's just a favourite son, isn't he, Eamon Costello? He's been around forever, and we really look forward to his game this afternoon. Hopefully you keep a close eye on him. Thank you.
Every time he touches the ball, an update immediately.
Brad Henderson, let's spend the last minute or so talking about what's going to happen this afternoon. They've been pretty decent over the last few years in being able to stay up in Division 1 and play a few competitive games, get those 3 or 4 wins throughout the season. They're going to have to take the next notch to be alive and in finals contention. Who do you think is going to win today?
Well, in 2009, South Croydon, of course, won the second division premiership, and that year Croydon made the Division 1 grand final. Since then, Croydon have been on a bit of a downward slide. They made the finals in 2010, were bundled out the first week. Last year, it was a disappointing season for them. And as Soupy touched on before, a bit of an over-reliance on Damien Cupido in a lot of games last year. Even without Cupido today, I still think that there's a class advantage for the Blues. Just looking at the players on the list for both sides and who's taking the field today, I just think Croydon, with players like Brad Callagher, Brendan Wynett, Dale Bull, those types of players, Dan McConnell as well, I just think Croydon have a bit too much class for the Bulldogs. Both teams will be absolutely raring to go. Both teams will be switched on and ready to play and hungry to get stuck into it. So I don't think motivation's any sort of factor today. What will separate the two sides, especially in these conditions, will be class. And I think Croydon just have a slight class advantage over the Bulldogs.
Peter Baird, your tip of this afternoon, the big game, Croydon versus South Croydon. You're going for the home side, are you?
I certainly am. South Croydon, as we said, the Arndale Cup back here at Cheong Park in the last game of their spiritual leader, Eamon Costello. All reasons point to South Croydon. No Damien Cupido up forward for Croydon, so I'm going for South Croydon.
I have to agree with Peter Baird there. I like South Croydon this afternoon. They will have been able to play on this ground for a little bit now, train together, and, well, I'm just excited for a high-scoring affair. And they're going to do it for Amon, aren't they, surely?
You would think so, Benny. And one of the players who could is the zippy one, Michael King, and it is Ryan Wilson who's taken the job on King in the back pocket. So
well, exciting stuff. There's a big crowd down here too. Get down to Cheong Park. It's like we keep mentioning, it's a perfect ground. Kids will be able to have a great kick at quarter time, half time and 3/4 time. But to take us away for the first match, broadcast live on EFL Game Day for season 2012, Brad Henderson. Let's go, mate.
Thanks very much, Ben. First quarter of the season for these two teams, season 2012. What does it hold for the Bulldogs and the Blues as the siren sounds and the Blues get the first effective clearance? The kick towards true centre-half forward position, and the mark held there by Ficciarelli, who wheels around, sends the ball forward, carries over the head of Wilkins, and just trickles through for a minor score. But the Blues getting a score in no time then, inside the first 30 seconds, and the first effective clearance there ending up in the hands of Ficciarelli, who was a pretty dangerous player at times last season, is capable of kicking some goals, multiple goals for the Blues, as the Bulldogs bring the ball out from defence, but that's a poor kick, out of bounds on the full. That was from the boot of Stone for South Croydon, as the Blues bring it back in. Mark held there by Kimpton. So Lee Kimpton in the blue boots, royal blue boots, sends it forward. Ficciarelli again was involved. King gets his hands on it now, gives off a little handball. The Bulldogs come out of defence. Nice pass by Allen, and he finds big stick Stratton Stevens on the true wing position. Doesn't waste any time now, gets it forward to Michael King. King's kick to to centre-half forward for the Bulldogs. McCormick releases a handball into the path of Allen. Had plenty of opposition there, though. Bull was desperate for the Blues. Put his body over the ball, and it finished up in the hands of Van Florestein, who gave it to Gardner, and now the Blues come out of defence. Short pass is on, and it's with Wilkins. So Matty Wilkins comes back inboard, kicks to Wilson. This is Ryan Wilson for Croydon. No score for the Bulldogs thus far, and the Blues have just managed one minus score as Callagher, careful kick to Van Florestein. Out of defence, Wilson's kick to the wing. Bull always provides plenty of run and carry for the Blues. Bull's kick to Wilkins, under pressure, hard up against the boundary line, and finally forced over for a throw-in.
Pretty stagnant, Peter Baird, early on in the piece.
It is. Both teams just looking to find their feet early on. We saw this last week in the Mitcham-Ringwood game as well. A little bit scrappy early on. Once the game settles, it should open up a little bit.
Kick from Fielding came forward. That's a lovely mark by Wynett. And Brendan Wynett there reeling in the mark. He did it well. And he'll go back now and line up from about 30 metres out. He's a left footer. Sort of he's always a good kick coming out of defence, but obviously kicking for goals is a different task that presents itself here to Brendan Wynett. Was involved in that grand final in 2009 for the Blues. Fires at the goals now. Steady approach. Kick looks good off the boot. And that's the perfect start for Croydon. Brendan Wynett has kicked the goal and the Blues lead 1-1-7 to South Croydon, yet to register their first score.
Yeah, a really nice kick for goal there from Wynett. Didn't try and punch the ball, kicked right through it. It sailed right through the middle. A fantastic start for Croydon. Now, they look like they're the side that's settled a little bit better. They've dominated the inside 50 so far. Probably had 2 to 3. I don't think South Croydon have had it inside their forward 50, perhaps only on the one occasion.
Scores around the ground early in the first quarter. Glen Waverley Hawks are leading the Churnside Park Football Club 17-6. Wanturna South in a close one over Templestowe 15-14 as Croydon go forward again. This time it's through Ficcarelli. Puts it straight through the middle. That's a centre clearance down Campbell, and that's fantastic play by Ficcarelli in the orange boots this afternoon. His first on the board. That's Croydon's second. They've got off to a fly, Peter Baird.
They certainly have, and great play there by Ficcarelli. Butted up, provided the target across half forward. He's not the biggest man on the ground. Probably actually one of the shortest, but outmarked his target and had the composure to turn back onto his right foot and to put that one right through the middle. A fantastic start here from Croydon.
He's a dangerous player, Justin Ficcarelli.
He enjoyed it too, didn't he, bro?
Yeah, it was a good celebration. And it's a 13-point lead now for Croydon. Bit of a stalemate in the middle. The umpire, in fact, has picked out a free kick. It will go to the Bulldogs. And it's going the way of the big ruckman, Jacob Fulton. Sends it forward. Callagher there, all wrapped up. And the umpire quickly on the whistle will ball it up. Throws it up. It's about 45 metres out from the South Croydon goals. Molnar, little handball, under pressure. And the ball still in that centre-half forward area for the Bulldogs. Obviously, there's going to be a heavy reliance today on Michael King to kick a number of their goals. He'll be their main option, even though he's not a key forward, not a power forward, but he is capable of kicking them. And as I speak, there is a goal kicked for the Bulldogs, and that one came, I think, from Mallison. Got it... really made something out of nothing then from the ball up, fired the quick shot, and Croydon, I should say, just caught a little bit napping there from the stoppage.
Yeah, it was one of those situations, Brad Henderson. The umpires paid a ruck infringement in the contest. The ball's just run out of the contest, and Mallison's just jumped on it. Advantage paid. It's one of those where the umpires all stood and looked at the umpire as he slammed it through for a goal for South.
Let's cross down boundary sign thanks to Akira Home Care to Dyson Baker. How's it going down there, Dyson? Had players getting amongst it?
Yeah, look, loving a bit of a vibe. Just a two-step match stat for you. I know it's Grant Campbell's state of mind, but I just just love to cut his mustard a little bit. Croydon 4 interchanges, South Croydon only making the 1 so far.
Thank you very much to Dyson Baker from Akira and Urgent Care as the doggies surge forward. McCormack got the front position. Roving to him was Blair Arlen, wrapped up in a tackle. The umpire's actually paid holding the ball. That is amazing that he's done that. Croydon will be switching the play now. They reach half back. Just waiting for the players to switch across this ground. Perfect conditions this afternoon. I haven't seen one player fall over yet. Slattery makes position. They're still across that half back line. Gives the handball off. Dan Forreston was by himself, elected for the longer option in Haig. Put himself in the front position. Over the top was Stevens. That was good defence. Handball by Ryan Wilson. Tried once again to find Thatcher. The big man got down low. That was good play. King gets the handball out. They're moving the ball nicely. This time the doggies as they surge up to forwards, half forward. McCormack found space. He wanted to play on, swings around on the left now, just pops it up forward. It was probably a disappointing kick in the end, and Croydon will look to clear. Kick up towards the boundary line, trying to keep the ball in was Matty Wilkins. Just over the line, we'll have a throw in about 60 metres out from the South Croydon goals. They currently trail by 7 points. Croydon 2-1-13, the doggies 1 straight 6.
Boundary throw in, big fist there by McCormick, floating over the top of the pack. And once again, the boundary line beckons. Crowell there, escorting the ball to the line. A 7-point lead for the Blues at this stage. Boundary throwing just in front of the cricket nets here at Cheong Park. Van Florestein, great handball to Bull. Bull through the middle, nice kick. And the mark held there by Trent Martin. Doesn't waste any time, Martin. Lovely pass into the path of Fitzgerald. He wheels around now, short pass to Wynett, and Wynett there leading Festini, his opposite number to the ball. Wynett doesn't waste any time, wheels around, swings onto that trusty left foot, but the umpire's blowing the whistle, and...
Downfield free kick.
Okay, so that free kick was well and truly off the ball, not involved in the Wynett contest. There's the long kick to the middle. Came from the boot of Marshall. Ball for the Blues. Takes possession. Neat pass to McConnell, who was paid a mark even though he dropped it. Umpire a bit quick on the whistle then. And McConnell's kick really was, he blazed away. It was a kick in hope. And Kearney had that kick well scouted. Comes out now, broadcast side to Strachan. Strachan thumping left foot kick. Looks for McCormick. Presented well. He was about 3 deep in the pack then, and he just worked his way to the front of the contest. McCormick's lateral kick came in board. Finishes up in the hands there of Crowell. Little quick kick to Marshall. Marshall's kick forward for the Bulldogs. This looks promising for them, but once again, Van Florestein, who's done a great job in this first quarter. He's repelled a number of Bulldogs moves forward. Now Ben Osborne swings it forward for the Bulldogs. Once again, the Blues have the defenders there to be able to steady, but the free kick's been given away. Took the tackler on, and that was a great tackle that time for South Croydon by Michael King. And Shane O'Donnell on that occasion took the opposition on. He'd be wishing he didn't because he was caught red-handed. So Zippy, Michael King fires at the goals. Lovely kick. He splits the middle, and South Croydon have their second goal on the board, and they now trail by 1 point.
Early stats thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats, Grant Campbell.
Total kicks are 26-15 in favour of Croydon, and inside 50 camp 7-5 in favour of Croydon.
Great forward pressure there from Michael King to really lay that tackle on. As you said, Brad Henderson, the Croydon player took the tackle on, and he got crunched there by Michael King, who really came at him hard, went back and kicked the goal to level the scores.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira, Urgent Care to Natalie Ioannidis.
Boys, Mallison's just come off the ground. He appears to be winded. Should be back.
Thank you very much, Natalie. McCormick once again gets out in front, takes a marker, takes the short option, gives it off to David King this time. Can he squeeze it through? He can. Beautiful kick from 50 metres by David King. That's his first, and that's cup 3 in a row now to the Bulldogs, and they've got off to a flyer in this last 5 minutes, Pete.
Yeah, fantastic kick there from Daniel King. Really, this is exactly the response that South Croydon were looking for after Croydon kicked those first 2 goals to hit back. After they levelled with one, then 2 in a minute to them. They're fantastic. So a great piece of play there by South Croydon.
David King kicking the third goal for South Croydon and second within the space of about
They're a
2
team of
minutes.
kings, South Croydon, Brad.
Well, I have been for a few years, and it's the same with the Ringwood cricket team, because a number of these players play in the Premier Cricket competition for Ringwood, and there's always 3 or 4 kings in that team as well, and it's these same boys. So there's the kick to centre half forward position. Stockdale took possession, gave the handball out. Hughes for Croydon goes short to Gardner, and Ben Gardner will just look to slow things down a fraction. Goes short to Wilson. Ryan Wilson has that big job today on King. Kick by Callagher to the wing position. Fair bit of interference going on then. And the free kick will go to the Bulldogs.
Text in your scores. Everybody out there going local for your footy this afternoon. 0410 495 582. There's plenty of people in the east that want to know the scores.
McCormick was the target. Callagher takes possession. Shovels out a handball to O'Donnell. O'Donnell's left foot kick is chopped off by Stevens. So Graydon Stevens comes in board now, and that was a pretty crude attempt to spoil from Kimpton. In fact, he didn't really attempt to spoil because the mark had already been well held there by Strachan.
But that kick had to be centimetre perfect there from Graydon Stevens and Brad Henderson. It was right on the money there, and the man rode the late bump and earned himself a 25-metre penalty.
So it's not Strawn, it's Strachan.
I don't know if it's Strachan or Strawn, Benny. I'd say surely Strawn, but I've known of people called Strachan as well, spelt the same way. So not too sure, but
we're leaving that to Dyson Baker, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. He can find out from down on the bench what the actual real pronunciation is. That'd be terrific. Thank you, Dyson.
And we might just also get Dyson just to confirm that number 30 for Croydon, just to confirm his identity as well. Making sure we're on the right.
O'Donnell, but we will wait for Dyson's confirmation. Back in the middle of the ground, Kimpton for the Blues gives a little handball out wide. They're moving up towards half forward. Mark's been taken, or there's been a free kick played. I don't know what's happened really there. Did you just see that one, Brad?
Just a little bit of a push out.
A little bit of a nudge. It was Ficcarelli it was against. He's not too happy about it either. Ball back in the middle. This time it's Crow for the Bulldogs. Gives a little handball off. Had tried to get the running Marshall. Couldn't quite meet the target. He might get a free kick here. Coming in hard for the Blues. So for Croydon 2, Dyson Baker. There's obviously a few late changes or some jumper swaps early in this game. Was just trying to put us to the test, Brad, early in this quarter. McCormack came through for the Doggies. Didn't even watch the balls, giving away an easy free kick. So it'll be a free kick to Croydon. They're across centre half back, and they're going to clear.
Yep, through Cook, Tim Cook, who was pretty keen to throw his weight around just a moment ago. Gave a little handball off. Ball's kick was very much under pressure, and wasn't much he could affect with it then. Out of defence, the Bulldogs up towards the wing position, and that's another mark to McCormick, who's really presenting well.
Providing them a good target up there, isn't he, Brad, across half forward, McCormick?
He's made a great start to this game, McCormick, Frosty. And he's kicked forward now for Michael King. Close to the boundary line.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Croydon getting a lot more uncontested ball. They've had 25 uncontested kicks to 15.
Boundary throw in, thanks Grant, as Crow went up in the ruck that time. Tumbling kick into the hands of McCormick, who's earned another free kick.
He's playing in front.
Yeah, he's done that well. And he's certainly causing the Blues some headaches in this first term. He's having a big influence.
Providing that target across half forward, an early contender for the Trojan workhorse today, BWS.
Absolutely, Peter.
He's a thumping long left foot kick usually. Just seemed to pull the kick slightly, but distance was still not a problem. Gee, made that look easy then, Alex McCormick. And he has kicked the goal for South Croydon. That's their fourth, and they've now opened up a handy 12-point lead in the middle stages of this first quarter.
Yeah, after Croydon jumped out of the blocks with those opening 2 goals, it's been South Croydon, the team that's settled more. They look much more composed when carrying the ball through the midfield, and their foot skills have been really impressive as they centre the ball to move it down through the corridor. They bring it out of defence wide and look for that centering kick inboard every time, and they're just with the superb foot skills, they seem to hit that target.
4 goals to 2, South Croydon's way. Inside 50s, Grant Campbell.
Inside 50s, 9-8, South Croydon's way.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. It'll be the Doggies to go forward again. This time it's Osborne. Bangs it on the left boot. Going up was Hughes for the Blues. Got in front position. Roving nicely. That time was Stockdale. Little left boot kick into the forward line. I think it was taken by King, but it was touched off the boot. Plays on, and we'll have a boundary throw in right next to the behind post. South Croydon in. They currently lead by 11 points here.
Boundary.
It's crossed down boundary side very quickly thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, thanks, boys. It is Glenn Strawn wearing number 32. I've just been told by a few of the South Croydon supporters, and also the numbers for Croydon. Number 22 is Nathan Palby, and number 30 is Billy Dixon. So you should have a full team list now, boys.
Thank you very much to Dyson Baker. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care. I'll eventually get my tongue around it. Not making it easy for us this year, Ben Waterworth, with all these new sponsors. Over the back of the pack, Croydon look to clear, ball back in the middle of the ground. Costello probably should have gone for the 2 hands, elected for the 1. Still got players in the middle. Croydon, and they switch the play, kick up towards half forward, into towards the Ficcarelli direction, got the front spot, went straight over his head. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Nicely mopped up there by Stone. They work in numbers. Osborne on the left foot, kicks it up towards the McCormick direction, and why wouldn't you? But this time he wasn't in the front spot and fisted away by Cam Van Florestein. Right next to the scoreboard over the outer side, which currently reads, I got it right the first time, Brad. 4-1-24 South Croydon. Croydon a 2-1-13.
They are indeed an 11-point lead to South Croydon as Osborne feeds out a handball. And it's his handball then was into some pretty close quarters. A lot of players around the footy. Umpire to throw it up. Both teams accurate in this first quarter. 4 goals won, it's 2 goals won. Stephens with a big fist out of the air that time. Ball finishes up in the hands of Molnar. Molnar's kick was well spoiled there. Nice defensive work from Van Florestein.
Interesting to see Brad Henderson, both teams deploying the loose man in defence, trying to play the extra man in front of the forwards leading out and trying to congest up the opposition forward lines.
Back into play, McCormick against Kimpton. Loose handball came out to Mallison.
Oh no!
One
oh,
on
no.
goal, and he has kicked his second, and that is a contender for goal of the day. That was a terrific goal there from Robbie Mallison, and South Croydon, they have kicked 5 of the last 6 goals of this game, and they now lead by 17 points.
I see it, but I don't believe it, Ben Warren-Smith. He's put that onto his left boot in that far left forward pocket. So the wrong side for a left footer, and it sailed right over the goal umpire's head. That's one of the goals of the year you'll see in First Division football.
Oh, and helicopter punted perfectly from that left forward pocket, straight through the middle. Rucks to go at it again. No one got the clear tap down. Handball out by Wilkins. Croydon looked to get forward. Still in the middle of the ground though. No centre clearance won. Quick handball out. They'll go forward again, the Doggies. This time it's 41. We're getting some numbers that aren't quite right here this afternoon. Allen, left foot snap. Got smothered off the boot. Defensive 50 for Croydon. Can they get rid of it? McCormack just swoops on it, bangs it on the boot. It can't swing enough around. Through for a minor score. He probably had a little bit more time, Peter Baird, than what he thought he had, and probably could have been another damaging goal late.
Yeah, but the Croydon defender really should have stood under that mark a little bit more, taken the first grab there. The pressure, though, from the South Croydon forwards has been fantastic, and they're actually crunching the Croydon defenders every opportunity they get, force that drop ball, and to cause the turnover where it fell into McCormack's hands. To you, Grant Campbell, for some stats.
South Croydon 5 forward, 50 tackles this quarter.
Thanks. Page over boys for 41, 45 and 53.
Thanks very much, Dyson. And,
we've sorted it out now. Maybe if I turned the page over, I'd find it.
So 41 was Higgins, Zach Higgins. So back in the from the ball up, it's that centre half forward. The kick now comes in towards the middle of the ground. Wilkins put his body in hard. Ball was fed out. McConnell went to ground. Strawn Gave it to Allen. Blair Allen, floating kick.
Great
nice mark. Terrific mark by King. Michael King. How good is he when he, in that situation? That's what he can do so well. Onto his left foot, quickly swung around and kicked the goal. And expect to see more of those today from Michael King. More where that came from the zippy one.
Well, you talked about great goals, Peter Baird. We've just seen 2 in a row, once again on the left foot, and once again using that helicopter punt style.
Oh, Stephen Milne, that was fantastic. Then from shake his defender, slam the ball onto the boot, and it's just helicoptered through. Fantastic run on here that South Croydon have got. That's probably the last 5 goals. Is that right?
Well, after starting slowly, you are correct. After starting slowly, they certainly have got on a bit of a roll. The South Croydon Football Club, first home game for the season. Rucks go up at it again. Ball pushing towards the half-forward line. On the ground. Stolen that time by Slattery across the half-back. His handball was smothered. 20 players around the football here. Handball out by Dale. Runners now. Nathan Haig across the wing position. Wants to squeeze it around and get onto that left foot kick. Kicks it up towards the Piccadilly position. Ball badly bounced in the middle. And it'll be South Croydon to clear. They've got players running out wide. The fate of the afternoon, fumbled what he probably should have taken, but he had the supporting King running past. Daniel King this time kicks it up towards David King running and not quite getting there. And that was Ferraccio, actually. Bit of a how do you do behind the play. David King is in there. So, this play's trying to sort it out for Thatcher. They're getting a little bit rough as well. It's what we like to see. It's Arndale Cup here at South Croydon, Cheong Park. Picturesque afternoon. Running after the ball with Sean Wilson this time. He just dived straight on the foot. He did a screaming for holding the ball. The umpire doesn't want a bar of it and we'll have a bounce. Half forward flank for South Croydon. They currently lead by 25 points, Brad.
They do indeed. And I just noticed Costello and McConnell standing next to each other at the moment. That's a very appetising matchup on offer this afternoon. McConnell, of course, with some AFL experience, albeit brief.
Seems a little bit nervous early, Ace, but you know he's going to come into it.
Yeah, he will. Best is yet to come from him today, you would think, as Stevens throws the ball on the boot. Quickly gets it forward. Callagher strongly tackled there by King. Michael King, that is. And the umpire will ball it up. Brad Callagher. Such a good player for Croydon at either end of the ground. Molnar, short pass is on. Towards centre half forward.
What a chase. Look at him go still.
McCormick hunts it down against Van Florestein. Ball on the outer wing now. Big fist there by Osborne towards the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in.
Those South Croydon forwards are working super hard there to try and lock the ball deep in their forward 50. And as you said, the chase there by McCormick to hunt down the Croydon player was fantastic. And the endeavour the South Croydon are showing shows that this game actually means a lot to them today.
Boundary throw in now. Ball goes forward. Gardner takes possession for the Blues. High up and under kick. Big contest offered there by Fulton. Tracking the ball down is Osborne. 2009 Les Leedy medalist with the kick there up towards the wing position, but taken over the line. And we'll have a boundary throw in out of side. And mentioned Brad Callagher before. A little surprised with Damien Cupido out of the team today that
didn't go forward.
That they haven't sent him forward because he was leading goal kicker a couple of years back in Division 1, and guys who can kick as many goals as he's capable of are certainly hard to come by. There's the shot at goal, but it was off target. Minus score for the Bulldogs, and they're doing all of the scoring at the moment. They are on fire, South Croydon. 6 goals to 38 to Croydon 2-1-13.
25 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Division 1 Arndale Cup day out at Cheong Park. We've got some around the ground scores at quarter time. Division 3 Boronia North Ringwood. Slow scoring affair with a 6-point lead to North Ringwood. 139 to Boronia. Yet to kick a goal, 3 behinds, and a 2-point lead to Coldstream over Warrandyte. Good game out there this afternoon. So the ball comes back in. We're at wing position now. Hand it over to the man with the binoculars.
No worries, Ben. It's a boundary throw in. Out of side, it's Crowell there. Sorry, that was Thatcher up against Fulton. Little handball from Marshall. Was intercepted, though, for the Blues by Slattery. working in pretty tight confines at the moment, the Blues. Kick comes forward. Target was Martin. And once again, the boundary line is beckoning, and Croydon really haven't, certainly, I don't think there's been one time where they've got the ball inside their forward 50, pretty, straight up the middle of the ground, other than the very first, from the very first ball up of the match. Since then, when Croydon have gone forward, it tends to be out towards the flanks and then the boundary. Bulldogs have been more direct. That's a good mark, though, by Trent Martin. And, Trent Martin graced the cover of the Maroondah Weekly a couple of weeks ago with 3 of his Croydon teammates, none of whom are playing this afternoon, other than none of them are playing. Trent Martin, the only one who is playing from that cover a couple of weeks ago. Martin's kick is off target, minus score, and that was a goal they needed. The Blues desperately needed one then. Martin couldn't finish off, and Croydon 2-2-14. South Croydon 6 goals, 3, which is 39, not 38, as the scorers at Cheong Park would have you believe.
28 minutes gone in the first term division score. Quarter time results. Eastern Lions by 7 points over Park Orchards. Another good game happening out as you go local for your football. South Croydon bring it in right in front of the broadcast position. We'll have a ball up. So just forward of centre for Croydon. Good first quarter by the Doggies. I'll be happy with their account that they've opened with. They've got numbers at the back of the ball in. Well done that time by Kimpton. He kept the ball alive for the Blues. Kicks it deep. It's a 2-on-2 situation. Who can mark it? It's ended up being rushed through for one behind. So a couple of late chances, Peter Baird, in the quarter for Croydon to get back within a decent margin at quarter time, but just can't get that big score on the board.
They can't, and they seem to be lacking that big target up forward. They're playing with guys like Ficarelli who are providing those targets, but he's one of the shorter players on the ground. They really miss that big marking target at Cupido up there. So as you said, Brake Callaghan might be the answer.
I think he is, Frosty, as Osborne brings the ball back in. Stevens got hands to it. Hughes shoveled out a handball. Hard up against the boundary line. Andrew Hughes did not like that decision from the boundary umpire.
And I don't think our effects might like that loud whistle there either.
Boundary throw-in, back into play. Strawn was taken to ground by Kimpton. Seemed to be without the footy in possession, I would have thought. Quick kick around the corner by King was a good one. McCormick, another mark for him. Dishes off a handball to Higgins. He backpedals to David King. And the King's kick smothered there, Ben.
It's got a Graham Campbell for Choose Tap Match stats.
The clearances are quite even at the moment, with 10 each around the grounds and 5-4 in favour of South Croydon for the centre clearances.
McCormick competing in the ruck this time. Best on ground in the first quarter for mine has been Alex McCormick. This time, though, the free kick goes the way of the Blues to Grant. Jimmy Grant, who's been quiet to this stage. Stevens, all on his own, had plenty of time, had to wait under it for a while. Shares it with Osborne, who bounces in the tackle by Ficarelli. And that is holding the ball every day of the week.
Oh, I was going to say, you've got to go long. He gets onto a spiral too, Brad. But that's quarter time out at Cheong Park. A great first quarter by both sides, but South Croydon getting the better of it. A 4-goal lead over Croydon, who are 2-3-15. We're going to go back and have some messages with Barry Cotts, and we'll be back to go through what happened in this first quarter right here on EFL Game Day.
Hi there, this is Ken Donnelly. Tuesday afternoons at 4, you're invited to join me for the Easy Drive Home. A variety of music from the best artists of yesterday and today. Contemporary rock and pop, a bit of jazz and blues, as well as some of that much-loved music from stage and screen. I'll also have lots of information about what's going on in our local community, together with traffic reports and the latest news, sport and weather. And it's all specially designed to make your day feel just a little bit easier. So come on, how about joining me for the Easy Drive Home every Tuesday afternoon at 4, right here on Radio Eastern 98.1. Bring along a friend.
Eggs, bacon, steak.
Need something to fill your belly on a weekend? Well, our friends at Hog's Breath Cafe Knox Ozone now have the answer. Apart from serving 7 days a week, Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone are now serving breakfast every weekend. So if you were looking for that perfect start to your Saturday or Sunday morning, pop in a Hog's Breath Cafe from 9 a.m. to try their Hogs-tastic new brekkie menu. Hog's Breath Cafe, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Radio Eastern 98.1 Barry Cost with you. It's coming up to 16-3. Let's check some AFL scores, and the big game being played this afternoon is out at the MCG between Carlton and Essendon, and currently it's around about the 20-minute mark of the second quarter, and Essendon lead 6-10-46 to Carlton 4-6-30. Goal kickers for Essendon, Crayman and Davey and Fletcher all have one each, and single goal kickers Betts, Garlett and Murphy for Carlton. So just repeating, halfway through the second quarter, it's Essendon 6-10-46, leading Carlton 4-6-30.
If you have an account, Eastlink car tolls are discounted by 20% every weekend. This makes Eastlink an even better way to get to and from your weekend footy game. For more details, visit eastlink.com.au. Connect East, the owner and operator of Eastlink, is a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
Yes, it does continue here, right here on EFL Game Day. And we've got some around-the-ground scores at the moment, some very interesting around-the-ground scores. Let's start in Division 1. Lilydale 3-5-23, leading Knox 1-8, 15 points to Lilydale lead there. Of course, our radio game here, South Croydon 6-3-39, leading Croydon 2-3-15, 24 points the margin. Noble Park 8-1-49 to Balwyn 1-1-7, 42 points is the margin at quarter time. Big start for the Bulls in their premiership defence. Good game out at Vermont. Vermont 3-5-23, leading East Ringwood 3-3-21. In Division 2, Donvale, solid start for them, 6-4-40, leading Mulgrave 3-2-20. Division 2, Rowville 4-3-27 to Upper Ferntree Gully 2-3-15. And the Waverley Blues 1-6-12 to Doncaster 1-3-9. In Division 3, as Ben Warren-Smith just said beforehand, a tight start there out at Tormore Reserve. North Ringwood 1-3-9 to Baronia 3 behinds. Ringwood 2-3-15, leading Heathmont 1-3-9 in the Parker Family Cup. Churnside Park, after a very accurate start, 5 goals straight 30, leading the Glen Waverley Hawks 4-3-27, leading Warrandyte 4-1-25. Division 4, Canterbury 5-2-32. Eastern Lions 3-3-21 to Park Orchards 2-2-14, and Forest Hill leading the Basin 3-1-19 to 2-4. Also getting some other scores from around the grounds at the moment. South Belgrave 3-5-23 leading Ferntree Gully, and Bayswater 4-2-26 leading Montrose 6-4-40. I'll bring you some more around the ground scores as they come to hand. If you'd like to SMS us here in the commentary box, or the caravan, EFL Game Day caravan, I should say, 0410 495 582 is the number you can get us on here. Brad Henderson, let's go through some of your thoughts before we cross down to Dyson and Nat on the boundary, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Are you surprised by how good South Croydon was in that first quarter?
I am a little bit, Benny, because they didn't start off that great, and they didn't look that flash for the first 10 minutes or so, but once they got their game into gear, they played some really good football. And we do believe that Cam Van Florestein for Croydon was issued a yellow card during the quarter-time break. There was just a little bit of a scuffle that broke out as the players were heading off to their respective huddles, and it was mostly verbalising going on, but I'm not sure what was said, but Van Florestein was shown the yellow card by the umpire, which means we won't see him on the park for about 15 minutes, which is a big blow for the Blues because he's doing a good job down in defence for Croydon.
Huge blow for Croydon, as you said. A couple other around the ground scores. Templestowe 6-3-39, leading Wanturna South 5-2-32. And Mitcham, as we expect, off to a solid start. 7-3-45. Whitehorse Pioneers 1-1-7. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap, some stats that matter.
Couple of the main first quarter stats. South Croydon won the contested possessions 41-34. They took 4 intercept marks to Croydon's 0. Croydon took 4 marks inside 50 to 0, but they failed to capitalise. South Croydon, great forward 50 pressure, 6 forward 50 tackles to 1, and from general play, their kicking goal was very good. They kicked 4-2, and usually teams struggle to kick 50% of their shots from general play.
Thank you very much to Grant Campbell for the Choose Tap match stats. Let's cross down boundary side. Let's hear what the coaches had to say after their first quarter of the year to Dyson Baker and Natalie Ioannidis, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thank you very much, Ben Warren-Smith, I should say. Yeah, as you said, Van Vorenstein was yellow carded right at the end of that quarter. Umpire's not going to take anything. They've said that everything seen off the ball will be spotted from now on. No movement around stoppages, Brett Chandler said. He said they needed to control the ball more, hold it in if they had to. He said the first 5 minutes was solid. It demonstrated that they'd improved from last year, but after that it really dropped off to 2011 footy.
We'll wait for a break in play before we come back to you as the ball goes deep for Croydon this time by Lee Kimpton, and he's found a target too. I think a free kick. Oh no. What's going on there, Brad?
Great mark taken there by Trent Martin for the Blues.
Yeah, it looked like the ball. Well, it was in the arms of Grattan Stevens, and he was trying to claim it. And I'm like, well, it was clearly a mark, but a good mark by Trent Martin deep in the forward attack for the Blues, and he really should make no mistake. They need to get an early one on the board. 25 metres out, kick strongly right through the middle. That was a beautiful execution of the kick. And Croydon get off to a great start here early in the second term. We've only gone 2 minutes. They moved to 3 goals at 3:21. They're trailing still by 3 goals. South Croydon 6-3-39.
That'd be just the start Brett Chandler was looking for then. A much more intense attack at the ball there. They had the marking target up there and a fantastic mark.
We haven't forgotten about our newest member of the EFL Media Team over at the South Croydon huddle at quarter time, Natalie Ioannidis.
Boys, the main message from the coach was to get more numbers front and centre. He just wasn't happy with the effort in the first quarter. And to be more aware of the Croydon players playing on, they need to be, to hold them up and get us more even spread around boundary throw-ins as well.
Thank you, Natalie, as the margin at this stage is 19 points. Croydon desperately needed the first goal of this quarter, and they have achieved it through Trent Martin as Kimpton, who set up that last goal really, sends the ball forward once again. Costello gets his hands on it now.
Good hands.
Got it to Allen. Handball over the top to King. Dan King in the long sleeves. Just about be the only player out there in the long sleeves today, as Ryan Wilson takes the mark for the Blues. Careful kick out of defence. Up towards half-back. Jimmy Grant takes the mark. Quickly plays on. Hugs the boundary with the kick. Probably should have almost been marked in the end there by Hug. And Nathan Haig then, he got to the footy first, just couldn't quite drag the mark in. Thatcher, big fist. Belts it forward for the Blues. Mold over the footy, did really well and forces the ball up. So, forward flank position will have a ball up here at Cheong Park. Round 1 action of Division 1 for season 2012. Little handball quickly came out of the pack, but the umpire has seen an infringement. Free kick will go to the Blues to be taken by Daniel Fielding.
So what do both sides have to do, Peter Baird, in this quarter to either go on with it or get back in the game?
I think Croydon just need to try and stop the run and carry that we've seen from South Croydon. They've been giving them too much their targets superbly with foot skills and try and shut down that run. They've started the quarter really well with their tackling pressure, which has really inhibited some of that run. So here that there's been a 25-metre penalty.
I think it's an actual downfield free kick.
Downfield. All sorts of holding on and whistles blowing everywhere, and nobody really knew what was going on.
Festini hit off the ball.
Players.
This seems that Croydon settled their quarter after that quarter-time scuffle right on the break there. Although they've had the man sent off in Cam Van Florestein, Croydon have come out with a more focus on the ball rather than the man.
So Martin once again for his second goal. Kick wasn't quite as convincing this time, but he still made no mistake. And Trent Martin has 2 goals, and Croydon are mounting their comeback. They've now brought the margin back to just 13 points.
Yeah, a silly free kick off the ball there to Croydon. They had got the free kick inside the forward 50, probably only 15 metres out from goal. They were able to go back, kick the goal there. They've opened the quarter with the first 3 of the quarter now, or first 2 of the quarter. They've reduced that margin. They seem to be the side that's steadied more after the quarter time break.
Other Division 1 scores this afternoon. Lilydale lead by 15 points at quarter time over Knox. Blackburn scored by 7 over Scoresby. Noble Park by 42 points over Balwyn, and Vermont in a close one, 2 points at quarter time over East Ringwood. So lots happening, Brad, out in the outer east.
Sure is. There's some sizable margins there already opening up in some of those games, but here it's pretty tight. 13 points after the Bulldogs did take the ascendancy in that first quarter. Blues are coming back. There's the short pass onto the chest of Crowell. Little handball to King. Not his best effort. Hughes intercepts it for the Blues. Neat pass by Andrew Hughes to Bentley. Josh Bentley's kick to Bull. Always seems to find plenty of space to be able to run with the footy. Dale Bull. This time his kick forward wasn't a bad effort. Wynett there taken to ground. They appeal for holding the ball, the Bulldogs, but the boundary line was too close. And so we'll have a throw in.
Choose tap match stats, Grant Campbell.
Croydon on top in the clearances so far, 3-1 this quarter.
Thanks, Grant, as Martin goes up against Stevens. Pretty much a stalemate from that ruck contest. Blues still have it inside 50. There's the kick by Haag. And the boundary line again was beckoning. So another throw in, virtually the exact same spot as it was before. And once this time it will be Trent Martin to go up against Big Sticks, Braden Stevens. Stevens decisively won the punch. Good tackling there by the Bulldogs. Wilkins dishes off a handball. This looks promising. Slattery has a bit of time to steady and line up the goals, but his kick drifted across the face. We'll claim it was a pass, though, because Wynett has taken the mark for the Blues. And
good body work, that was.
Fantastic body work. Lent into his opponent there, BWS. Held him out of the contest at the last minute, released, and was able to mark uncontested on his chest.
And we saw Brendan Wynett in the first quarter kick a goal from pretty much the exact same spot, but down the other end. Same angle. He's a left footer. Shouldn't have too many problems with the angle, all the distance. Finisher. Wrapped him up pretty well, but he's drifted it across the face of goal. Brendan Wynett, minor score. And Croydon 4 goals, 4-28. Now trail South Croydon 6-3-39. As the 2009 Les leading medalist Ben Osborne to bring the ball back in was best of field the day that the Bulldogs won that second division premiership.
Wasn't a good day too. I remember talking to Paris Harvey in tears after that match. It was a terrific afternoon.
So the Bulldogs up towards the wing position. Crowell was in the front spot. Gardner floats a kick forward, nicely marked there by Costello. Eamon Costello sends it forward. Not his best kick, but still gave his forwards a chance. Grant there, little paddle handball. That was deliberate if ever I've seen one. What else was he trying to do other than head straight for the boundary line? And the umpire has given him the benefit of a lot of doubt there. So boundary throw-in. Should have been a free kick against the Blues. Out of defence, the Bulldogs. Dangerous kick intended for Mallison. There's the kick around the corner. King, geez, good in that situation. Is there anyone better in that type of scenario?
Oh, they're going to the video, are they? It's gone over the post. It's got to be paid a goal. We've got a good angle for this kick.
Looked like a goal.
Boundary umpire. They're all talking to each other. Jimmy Grant's very confident that it went through for a behind. And the other boundary umpire's come into the situation. And now he's paid off it behind. And Zippy King is absolutely filthy out there. So it goes just through for a minor score in the end. So South Croydon, they move on to a 22-point lead. Well, no, it's not. It's a 14-point lead. The scoreboard will update shortly as Gardner takes the kick in for Croydon. It's going to go back to Callagher. No, it wasn't. It was Jimmy Grant who kicked the ball in. Up and over kick. So O'Donnell will switch the ball back. It's a dangerous kick. Grant's got 3 touches in the last minute or so. Gives the old 1-2. They kick out towards the wing position. Front spot that time, there was Wilkins, gives a handball off. That was good running play. This time it is Wilkins. Bounces through the middle of the ground. Sizes up, kicks towards half forward. Costello's in a good spot, so too is Kearney. Got the punch away and then was quick to the task to get down at ground level. Banged it on the boot, kicked it up towards the Wilkins direction for Croydon. He put his body on the line. It's either taken the mark or received a free kick. And he's got it on the outer side wing, right in front of the scoreboard, which currently reads a 12-point lead. Only 2 goals of difference here at Cheong Park. South Croydon 4-4-28. So it'll be Croydon to reload.
Matty Wilkins got the zinc cream going Mile Carsey style today. As Hughes takes possession, comes out of defence, up towards the wing. Seemed to be a high tackle. And that was the way the umpire saw it. Free kick to Wynett. Shares it with McConnell. Dan McConnell. It's been pretty quiet so far. They need more out of him.
Oh, what a lead.
McConnell's kick to Ficciarelli was a good one. And the mark taken on the chest. Getting plenty of words being exchanged there between little Justin Ficciarelli and his opponent, Cam Stone.
You know what my favourite stat is? Grant Campbell from Choose Tap Match Stats.
Marks inside 50. Croydon only got 1 goal from 4. This is their 3rd mark inside 50. They've already kicked 2 goals from those already.
So there's a whistle right as Ficciarelli kicks the ball.
I don't think it matters.
He's kicked the goal, and the goal will count. So there was a whistle, obviously, for another free kick downfield, but the ball went through for a goal. So the umpires wisely have paid the goal. And Justin Ficciarelli has got 2 goals, and he is looming large for the Blues, even though he doesn't look all that big.
South Croydon just need to be very careful in applying some of their tackles. Bit overzealous there on a couple of occasions. Gave away some free kicks, which allowed Croydon to move that ball into their forward 50 and allowed Ficciarelli to mark out on his chest. Those free kicks weren't given away. That's what they need to just tighten up at the start of this quarter.
It's crossed down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Dyson Baker. What's happening down at ground level, Dyson?
Thank you very much, Ben Warren Smith. Yeah, put me under the pump. I love it when you do that. Cameron Florentine still probably 3 or 4 minutes away from coming on the ground. Another one, Trent Martin, just came off the ground with the most horrible limp you've ever seen. It wasn't necessarily a bad injury. It's just a very, very bad limp. Looks to be a right hamstring. We'll see how he goes. I reckon the trainer will be all over that one.
Thank you, Dyson. Strong got the ball. It was a beautiful left foot kick. Got it to Mallison, and he goes even shorter and finds James Crowell about 50 metres out from goal, and they'll be looking for the quick answer, Brad.
They will indeed, and Mallison hit Crowell up with that pass and then sprinted straight for the boundary to have a bit of a well-earned rest.
Important kick, this one for Crowell. Croydon have come out and opened with the first 3 goals of the quarter, reduced that lead back to 6 points. South Croydon need a steadier.
So it'll be James Crowell to come in. Important kick, as we've just heard. Should definitely make the distance from here, you would think. Comes in, 51 metres. It's a bit of a sausage roll off the boot, but it might just get there. It does. Perfect goal. Just what the doctor ordered for the doggies. And they kick their 7th of the afternoon and just get that little bit of a buffer once again. A 12-point lead. They are 7 goals, 4-46. And Croydon are 5-4-34. Got almost 20 minutes in this second term, Peter Baird.
Yeah, that's, as we said, an important goal there for South Croydon. Croydon have opened this quarter full of running. They've attacked the ball. They've been much more precise in their ball movement, and South Croydon needed to kick that steadier. Crowell kicked through the ball, although it came very wobbly off the boot. It sailed through, cheered home by the South Croydon faithful up there on the hill.
Divisions 2 scores at quarter time. Montrose by 14 over Bayswater. Murrelbark by 30 over Doncaster East. Donvale by 20 over Mulgrave. Rowville by 2 goals over Upper Ferntree Gully, and the Waverley Blues in a close one. 3 points, Brad, over Doncaster.
Yeah, very exciting, that one, as the ball comes out of the middle. And see, it's hotly contested once again. The players dive in over the top and force another ball up.
Perfect time to go to the Division 3 scores. Templestowe by 7 over Wannon Turner South. North Ringwood by 6 over Baronia. Another 6-point lead to Ringwood over Heathmont. The Glen Waverley Hawks trail a quarter time to Chermside Park by 4 points. The Mitcham Football Club by 38 over Whitehorse Pioneers. And Coldstream by 2 over the Bloods.
Yeah.
And to Dyson Baker, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. What do you got for us, Dice?
Yeah, just an update on Trent Martin. Came off a couple of minutes ago. I said hamstring. I actually meant calf. He's got that iced up, and from what I've been, from my knowledge of training and injuries and that sort of thing, once you get iced, you're a very unlucky chance to come back on the ground. I'm not going to call it, but things are looking very dull.
Unlikely that we'll see Trent Martin again, which is a shame because he's kicked 2 goals in this quarter and has looked dangerous as Michael King wheels around, fires at the goals, and this one's clearly a behind.
Little whack there.
Minor score there for Michael King. Gee, he's dangerous, and he certainly
just puts himself in the right positions, front and square of the pack every time there, Brad Henderson, and reads the ball off the hands of the forwards so well. When the defender punches, it falls into his hands every time.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
South Croydon on top with the hit-outs, leading that 9-2, although Croydon winning the clearances 6-3.
Strong tackle there by Stevens, and forces a ball up. Umpire fairly quick on the whistle.
I think that's the big stat that matters there, Grant Campbell. The clearances around the ground, it's clear that Croydon are getting on top and winning those clearances and are able to break away.
McConnell out of the middle, sends it forward. Fitch really gave his opponent the slip, but did it illegally according to the umpire. Just held his opponent off the contest and then charged at the footy. Dangerous kick, McConnell intercepts it this time. Fitcherelli shares it with McConnell. McConnell forced onto his left foot, was unconvincing. Kearney gave the little handball away, was intercepted. Shot at the goal was touched on the line there. It was from the boot of Dale Bull. And a minor score for Croydon, who now trail by just 12 points.
We haven't forgotten about you. Division 4, Canterbury lead by 21 over Kilsyth at the quarter time. The Eastern Lions by 7 over Park Orchards. South Belgrave in a close one, 4 points the difference against the Ferntree Gully Eagles. Forest Hill, another close game at 3 points the difference at quarter time. They lead the Basin, and Nuttawading by 56 over Surrey Park. We're deep into time on here in this second term as South Croydon look to bring the ball in at a play-on situation. They cross the 50, kick up towards the wing position. Stockdale's by himself, gets it now. They've moved the ball okay, the doggies. Stockdale ran too close to the man on the mark, but he's quick to gather, gets around one, get a little handball over the top. Couldn't find Osborne, his teammate, trapped there by Dan McConnell, who goes in towards the Fickerelli direction. He just wasn't tall enough, he was in the right spot. The ball's fisted over the boundary line and out of bounds. Great game we're seeing here this afternoon. Only 2 goals the difference. It's Arndale Cup. South Croydon versus Croydon. Ball to be thrown in.
Yeah, boundary thrown. McConnell over the top with the fist. But it was all South Croydon as they cleared. Kick there by Costello. Chopped off though by Gardner. Ben Gardner goes inboard. Kicks to the true centre of the ground. And that's just silly. I mean, the mark was clearly held there by Slattery and David King for no real reason, just trying to hold him up. Held on to him too long and makes it easy for the umpires in that situation to pay a 25-metre penalty, Ben.
Oh, it's just craziness. Peter Baird late in time on to give a potential goal away. It's just ludicrous.
It is, but the thing I've been really impressed with Croydon this quarter is the intensity they've had with their tackling pressure.
Slattery, bit of a floater, falls well short.
Oh, the first of the helicopters that haven't gone in for the day, Brad.
Yeah, it was a disappointing kick, and Dion Festini judged it nicely, managed to control the mark, and now he's the recipient of a 25-metre penalty. So we've seen 2 25s in the last minute, one for each side.
Feeling creeping into the game.
Yeah, some feeling and a bit of undiscipline, and a bit unnecessary really from both sides. Need to concentrate for these last few minutes. So McCormick has the ball. He's had a pretty quiet second quarter after really having a big impact in that first term. And he was angry then, McCormick. He threw the ball into the ground because the umpire said it was out of bounds. There's a free kick. It will go to the Blues. And it's with Dale Bull. So Bull, very short, barely travelled the required distance to Cook. Tim Cook to Van Florestein, who's sat out a fair portion of this second term, courtesy of a yellow card. Short to Gardner. Gardner's short pass there to Van Florestein now. Comes out of defence. Nice kick into the hands of Slattery. Lovely pass by Slattery up through the middle of the ground. This is promising. Dixon it was who took the mark in the middle. Gave it off to McConnell. Bulldogs managed to clear. Chain of handballs was dangerous, so Ficciarelli swoops on the footy and got in the back of his opponent. So he's given another free kick away.
Another 25.
Another 25-metre penalty, and again, needless, silly from Justin Ficciarelli that time. So the 25-metre penalty will go to Dan King. Shares it with Strawn. Long searching kick carried over the head of Crowell. Hughes works his way back nicely. Gathers possession now. Shares it with Cook. Cook's little give was a good one. Bulls kick for the Blues to the middle of the ground, but it was well marked there by Dan King. Just end-to-end stuff at the moment. Costello. Handball was partly blocked, and a boundary throw-in will result again. That was wasn't pretty football, and it was pretty tired-looking football from both sides. Almost as if they're just hanging out for the halftime break, Ben.
Absolutely, as the umpire brings it in. Well, Fulton couldn't get there, and Cook came right across the front of the pack and got the ball inside 50. In the front spot is Haig. Can he take the mark? Nearly played for the free kick. Ball hits the deck. It'll be Kearney. No, that may have even been Osborne. Gets it back to Kearney. They're going to switch the play. Nicely done this time by the doggy Strawn. He's got players out wide. It'll be David King to get the ball first, and here they go, the Bulldogs. One bounce, he'll probably have two and draw the player. No, he goes backwards. He's going to get done here, David King, but had enough poise to get the running handball out. Here comes Nick King. They're working well, the King boys, this afternoon up towards the McCormick direction. Fell over. Stockdale hit the deck, but was quick to get up. Great handball over the top. Running in and kicking a goal is Matty Crowell, and he's put it straight through the middle. And the Doggies in junk time kicked their 8th for the afternoon, and they move to a 3-goal lead. 8 goals, 5-53, leading Croydon 5-5-35. 28 minutes gone here in the second term, Peter Baird.
Yeah, in the first quarter, the South Croydon's game was really characterised by their superb passing skills, the way they were able to chip around and pinpoint a target. That time, though, the first time for the quarter, they've moved the ball with any fluency, but it was through a chain of handballs as they ran the ball down the wing and then were able to find Crowell running into that open goal. Fantastic play there by the Bulldogs. Bit of a change-up in tempo from them.
Yeah, great footy that time, and well called, well explained then, Frosty. Nice finish there from Matty Crowell, and just about the first time I've called him in this game, but he's bobbed up at a good time. 18-point lead, an even 3-goal margin the way of South Croydon, heading towards half-time. The Blues through McConnell. Quick kick around the corner. No mark was held. Chance here for Kimpton, easy as you like. His Bulldogs opponent just went to ground at the crucial moment, and Lee Kimpton seized on the footy, and he didn't need too much time on that occasion. He just raced and the easy goal.
Well, just what the doctor ordered, Peter Baird.
Just what this game really wanted. We really want that margin to close up just before half-time, but a cardinal mistake there from the Bulldogs defender. Who had an uncontested drop mark, and then the Croydon player was able to swoop on it. Kimpton put the ball onto the boot, brought that margin back to the 2 goals. Fantastic quarter this has been by Croydon.
Half-time scores coming in Division 3. It's over Warrandyte. Text your scores through to 0410 495 582. We need your help.
Back in the middle for South Croydon.
What's the free kick count this quarter, Grant Campbell?
5-2 in favour of Croydon.
This free kick's gone to Jimmy Grant. Looks for Callagher, who offered a long lead, led up towards the wing and takes it. Callagher swings it forward. Nicely judged there by Haag and Nathan Haag or Haig. On confirmation as well from Dyson on the boundary.
Speaking of Dyson, let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. How are the interchange rotations going this quarter, Dice?
Yeah, look, both sides really running through them once again this quarter. It was about 25 to 20 in the first term. It stayed pretty much the same. Croydon making upwards of 50 changes. South Croydon around the 45 mark.
Nathan Haag's kick. He's just drawn it back beautifully. And that's a lovely kick from Nathan Haag. He's kicked the goal. Narrows the deficit now to just 6 points. And we're going to have a really close ball game going into the second half.
A lot of people, Peter Baird, thought this game could quite possibly be a bit of a blowout this afternoon. It's certainly not the case.
Well, it's never going to be a case when these two sides meet. There's a lot of feeling between the two clubs, a lot on the line with the Arndale Cup. But the real difference in Croydon's play this quarter, I said that they really lacked that marking target or the forward there that would straighten them up. But I think it's actually their ball movement around the ground. When they were moving the ball much more slower in that first quarter, it was allowing the South Croydon defenders to flood back and congest those holes. This quarter, they've moved the ball much more fluently through the midfield and much more freely, and it's allowing them to move the ball quickly down there and their forwards to create space and get it out to provide marking targets without the South Croydon defenders flooding back. Much more fluent style of play from South Croydon.
Deep into the second term, the ball's back in the middle. So it'll be Stevens versus Thatcher. Players go up. Thatcher got the knockdown. Charging through for Croydon. That time a little giveaway handball. McCormack put his body on the line. Good umpiring by the umpire to let the ball go. Comes out to Thatcher. Kicks the ball up towards the half-forward line. In towards, the Why Not direction. Got down, got up, swings around on the left boot, kicks it to the top of the square. This could be important to get another one late. Front spot, roving ball, kick around the body by Bull. Got smothered halfway. Ball still only about 20 metres out from goals, running after it. Doggies have the numbers. Well, clear to the outer side, kicking to no man's land, and it's McCormack versus three players. He was clever enough to flick it over his head, gained a valuable 5 or so metres. Boundary throwing on the outer side of the ground, right near the scoreboard, which currently reads, I did it again, I can't believe it. South Croydon lead by 6 points. That's just easier to say, Brad Henderson.
6 point lead, as you said, back into the contest now. Out of the pack come the Blues through Slattery. Lovely kick for Ficciarelli on a long lead, and he had front position there, took the mark. He's appealing for a 25-metre penalty and sort of understand against himself. So when he gets interfered with, he's very quick to demand that the umpire take action. But the umpire...
It was a brilliant mark, that. He charged out. It was great. Grant Campbell, you've got some stats for us, the choose tap?
Mark's inside 50 now, 10-1 in favour of Croydon. You think if that stayed the same in the second half, that Croydon would go on and win the game.
So Justin Ficciarelli, 2 goals so far today. Nice approach, lovely kick off the boot, and he's made no mistake. And scores the level now at Cheong Park in the Arndale Cup. 8 goals, 5 apiece. Couldn't ask for a better setup heading towards half-time, as Ficciarelli now has 3 goals.
30 minutes gone here in the second term, Peter Baird. We thought for a little while that Sarge would be able to get these late goals. Is there time for another?
Possibly, but South Croydon have been really great this quarter in breaking away from the stoppages. Guys like Slattery have really got on top through the midfield, and when they're able to run and spread like that, it makes it so much more easier for their forwards, hence those 10-1 marks inside 50.
The Eastern Lions lead by 33 points at half-time over Park Orchards and Baronia. Trail North Ringwood by 13 points. It's always a close game between those two sides. To the ball half forward. This time could be the Dogs' end. Croydon get the clearance though. End-to-end football here as the ball's up towards half forward, running over the pill. That time stopped. He's made under pressure in Daniel King. Toe poked it up towards David King across the half forward line. Well done by Andrew Hughes. He just charged after the pill, trapped it on the ground, got the handball out to Matty Wilkins. He kicks it wide, and it was a smart kick too, because he had players running all over the half forward line, and they'll kick it deep inside looking for Ficciarelli. He might even earn a free kick here. He definitely played for it and probably deserved it too. The umpire comes in and will bounce it about 30 metres out from goal. It's getting fiery here at the 32-minute mark of this second quarter. We've also got a player down, Dyson Baker. Who is it, thanks to Akira Home Care? I think it might be Cam Stone.
Daniel Fielding got it. I assume friendly fire from Eamon Costello has not moved.
I think Brad Henderson, it's Daniel Fielding, definitely. No, it's Cameron Stone, I think it is. let's keep a close eye on him, Dyson. I know you'll be able to lead Nat over to the bench and show her how it's all done here as we get an update, because we don't like seeing players down.
Some concerns look there from the trainers from South Croydon as well. The South Croydon teammate went straight over and signalled for the trainers. He has not moved the player down, and we feel for the South Croydon supporters they're watching.
Stretchers coming out onto the ground. It's very late in this second term. Scores are level, Brad. I know you've got the binoculars. I don't know if you can see too much from where you're sitting now as to what's happening. We know he's just about to be put onto the stretcher. Let's hope everything's okay.
He's not moving much, and he's going to be put on the stretcher now, but didn't see the incident. I mean, I didn't see exactly what led to him being on the ground.
Some more scores coming through at half-time. Ringwood by 16 points over Heathmont in Division 3, and also across in Division 4, a very good game between Forest Hill and the Basin. This time it's the Basin who got back the lead at half-time by 6 points.
Just a little bit of an encouraging sign, Ben, that they got him on the stretcher very quickly and they're already carrying him off, whereas when it's something really serious, there's so much care taken that quite often it can be a couple of minutes before they, while they're getting them on the stretcher, and he's already halfway to the boundary now, so they seem to have carried him off fairly quickly, which I'll take as an encouraging sign that it's nothing too serious.
Grant Campbell.
Yeah, just run through a couple of the main stats while we have this stoppage in play. The clearances has been massive for Croydon. They've won the centre clearances 7-2, and around the grounds they've won the clearances 6-3. So that in total was 13-5. That's been a big difference. The other thing is the contested ball. Croydon having 37 contested possessions to South Croydon just 21. Those are massive differences, and South Croydon will need to rectify that if they're going to go on and win the game.
I think those two stats you've mentioned there, Grant Campbell, and the other one you mentioned before, are all linked together. Their clearances, they're getting away from the stoppages due to their intensity and their ability to win the contested ball around the stoppages, and that's led to their marks inside 50 that you said was something like 10-1.
We've got a restart here. He's very deep in the Croydon forward line, knocked down by Tim Cook, tried to get it to his teammates' advantage. The South Croydon clearing it out. Good handball by Crowell. They kick it up towards McCormack on the wing position, knocked over his head by Wilson, went to ground. McCormack kept his feet and was good enough to run the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. To get on that centre wing position, far side out here at a very picturesque Cheong Park. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Dyson Baker.
Yeah, thanks very much, boys. Yeah, it was Daniel Fielding. As I said, copped a little bit of friendly fire in the marking contest from Eamon Costello. Great to see Ace more inclined to look at his play than look at where the ball was. He was conscious when he came off the ground. They were just taking precautions, holding the neck, a bit of a safety position. Hopefully should be okay.
I think you're being a little bit dyslexic, Dyson. Daniel Fielding plays for Croydon. It's 29 from the South Croydon Football Club. Cameron Stone, who's gone off, as Brad, the ball's across the half-forward line for the Doggies.
Well, the ball on the outer wing just in front of the scoreboard here, which reads that it's a very close ball game. Scores dead set level as Albie gets a quick kick, and he's put it out of bounds for a throw-in as a couple of Bulldogs prepare to come back on, but I'm not sure they've got a chance before the half-time siren sound. It's been quite a long second quarter.
Over 35 minutes.
Yeah, quite a few goals for both sides, and obviously the stretcher and a couple of other stoppages as well. So Gardner there applies a strong tackle. McCormick, big high, up and under kick. Costello was bodied out that time by Kelleher. There's a whistle for a free kick. Didn't seem to be much in it. And it will go to Kelleher for the Blues. So Brad Kelleher now just goes short, sideways. Still in the Blues defensive area. And the siren sounds to complete the first half, and what an exciting first half it was as well. 8 goals, 5 apiece for both sides. 53 each is the score at the long break, and should be an outstanding second half, Ben.
And we certainly look forward to it. We're wrapping up this first half after the break, along with our Around the Grounds reporters. Ben Waterworth steps into the host chair with all the scores as you go local for your football coming up here right on after the break, right here on AFL Game Day.
Tune into Anything Goes on Radio Eastern. 2 hours of musical variety with your host Rex Shields. You will hear music from the great singers from the 30s to the 70s, as well as a little country, a little jazz, and music from the shows. Just think of the program as a bag of licorice all sorts. You never know what you're going to get. Remember, anything goes from 2 p.m. every Monday afternoon. Music with Rex Shields in the Radio Eastern style.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Radio Eastern 98.1 at 23 after 3. A very nice afternoon in Melbourne's Outer East, currently sitting on 25 degrees. And let's check some AFL scores. And the game being played at Etihad Stadium is between Collingwood and Port Adelaide. It's half-time. And Collingwood lead. Collingwood 8-8-56 lead. Port Adelaide 5-7-37. Major goal kickers for Collingwood. Sidebottom has 2 and 1 each. To Beams and Cloak, and for Port Adelaide, Butcher, Ebert and Gray have 1 each. And in the other game being played today is between Carlton and Essendon, and at half-time it was Carlton just trailing Essendon by a little bit of margin. It was Essendon 8-11-59 to Carlton 4-7-31 at half-time, and it's currently around about the 10-minute mark of the third quarter. And it's Essendon 8-13-61, leading Carlton 5-9-39. Major goal kickers for Essendon. Davey has 3 and 1 each to Craman and Fletcher. And for Carlton, Betts has 2 and 1 to Gullett and Murphy. So there your AFL scores update right here at Radio Eastern 98.1.
Connect East, the owner and operator of Eastlink, is proud to be a major partner of the EFL Eastlink Road Safe program, along with the EFL Road Safe RACV and the Hawthorn Football Club. As the operator of one of Melbourne's safest roads, Connect East knows the importance of reaching out to young motorists about road safety. In 2011, hundreds of players and officials from EFL clubs will attend these road safety sessions and walk away better equipped to make driving decisions when behind the wheel. Connect East, the owner and operator of Eastlink, proud supporters of Radio Eastern and the Eastern Football League. Thought that outbreak was never going to come. I am starving, Benny, and it's your shout for a change. Where are we going?
Mate, we're staying local and we're heading out to the Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone to get an 18-hour slow-cooked steak.
Not really after the steak at the moment, mate. What else have we got?
Mate, it is simply the best steak on the planet, but if you have to go past it, try their great range of sensational salads, burgers, wraps, and a terrific light options menu. So there's something to please everybody, even you, mate.
I'll tell you, it's sounding better every time you describe it. But are we going to have to book ahead?
It'd be wise, mate. So phone ahead at Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone Shopping Centre on 9887 4555. That's 9887 4555. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner, and groups are most welcome.
Well, that settles it. We're off to Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone, and a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League. And
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
And you wouldn't want to be anywhere else than right here on EFL Game Day. And we've got a beauty of a contest here at Cheong Park. South Croydon and Croydon dead level at half-time. South Croydon 8-5-53. Croydon 8-5-53. I'll bring you all the scores from around the grounds. But before that, it's time to find out what's happening around the world. And joining us on the line, as he will every half-time right here on EFL Game Day, he is 9 News' own Clint Stanaway. Good afternoon to you, Clint.
Good afternoon, boys. Sounds like a ripper out there.
Yeah, it sounds like an absolute beauty out here. You watching across the AFL scores at the moment as well?
Yeah, look, Carlton look like they're coming at the MCG. The Bombers lead by 22 points, but Ayrton Woolley, our gun young reporter here, he tells us that Michael Hurley is probably going to be sitting out for up to 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. He's just limped off. So there's his expert diagnosis. Corey Norris is looking after the Collingwood match for us tonight. But plenty happening around Victoria, around Australia tonight in the news. Missing teenager Lani Edwards. She's been found safe and well near Mount Gambier after vanishing with an alleged online predator. So that's good news there out of Mount Gambier. In Sydney, meanwhile, wild scenes in King's Cross overnight. police shot 2 teenagers in front of crowds of people. The federal opposition, they're calling for Speaker Peter Slipper to stand down amid allegations of sexual harassment. Healesville, how about this? They're in a bit of a spin up there with news. Warnie and Liz have gone hard in a retreat.
Oh no, the town's going to be torn to shreds.
Can you imagine? You imagine? So look out for the chopper. They better have a chopper pad or something similar to scoot Warnie in and out.
And then a Rolls Royce to pick him up from the airport as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
And of course, in sport, we'll have all the action from the AFL, including Ross Lyon's last laugh at Etihad. Mark Webber, second fastest in practice at the Bahrain Grand Prix. And there's a huge day of racing up at Randwick with the running of the Doncaster Mile in a few minutes' time. All that and much more. 9 News with Alicia Loxley, who's looking splendid tonight at 6.
I'm sure you're looking just as splendid. Clint, thanks very much for that. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks.
Clint Stanaway from 9 News, joining us for the 9 News headlines that will be going on at 6 o'clock today. And 6 o'clock tonight, I should say. Now, I've got some around-the-ground scores for you and some interesting scores around the grounds, of course. South Croydon and Croydon, 8-5-53 apiece here at Cheong Park. But up at the Lilydale Sports Oval, Lilydale 7-9-51, leading Knox 3-24. Big, well, not big lead, but a comfortable lead there for Lilydale by 27 points. Good start for East Burwood against Scoresby. East Burwood 8-3-51, leading Scoresby 6-9-45. Big start for Noble Park, though, against the Baldwin Tigers. Noble Park 10-3-63, leading Baldwin 4-6-36. And a good game out at Tarara Road today. Vermont 6-14, inaccurate 50 to East Ringwood at 7-5-47. In Division 2, Donvale off to a good start against Mulgrave. Donvale 9-5-59, leading Mulgrave 5-3-33, 26 points the margin there. Roeville 7-8-50, leading Upper Fentree Gully 5-4-34. So Peter Baird's happy for 2 reasons. He's got a hamburger in his hand, and Roeville are winning at the moment. Doncaster leading 6-7-43 to the Waverley Blues. Listen to this, 2-12-24, 19 points is the margin. Templestowe leading Wanturna South 10-6-66 to Wanturna South 8-7-55. Close one out at Baronia with North Ringwood leading 5-5-35 to Baronia 3-4-22. Ringwood 8-4-52 to Heathmont 5-6-36. Glen Waverley Hawks 10-8-68 to Churnside Park 5-1-37. This is a bit of a pantsing out at Walker Park. Mitcham 14-11-95 to Whitehorse Pioneers 1-1-7. 88 points is the margin. Coldstream, good, impressive first half there. Coldstream 10-5-65 to Warrandyte 4-3-27, 38 points the margin there. In Division 4, Canterbury 9-6-60 to Kilsyth 5-8-38, 22 points the margin there. Eastern Lions 8-7-55 to Park Orchards 3-4-22. The South Belgrave Football Club had a big second term, 6 goals, 2 they kicked. So they now need 9-7-61 to Ferntree Gully Eagles 4-1-25. Forest Hill trailing the Basin 5-9-39 to Forest Hill 5-3-33. And coming into my phone right now, Nunawading, check this score out. 18-8, 116 to Surrey Park, 4 behinds. 112 points is the margin. But all our attention is going to focus now on Tormore Reserve, because the one and only man out there is Will Taylor. He's the man across it all. And we're going to cross out to him now. Good afternoon to you, Will Taylor.
Good afternoon, Benny, and what a game out here at Tormore Reserve in Baronia, and I'm out here to see Baronia taking on North Ringwood. Half-time at the moment here, we're just actually about to get underway here in the second half. It's Baronia 3-4-22 to North Ringwood 5-5-35. The first quarter started off, and look, it was a very, very slow start for both sides. It just was a ping-pong from half-back to half-back, and there was one goal in that quarter, and that was in the 15th minute mark with Jack Williams scoring off the turnover in the back line from the kicking. That was that one, and at the end of quarter time, it was a 1-goal lead to North Ringwood, 1-3-9 to 3 behind. The key stats in this game, it was 3 marks inside forward, 50 to Baronia to the Saints 1, and the possession count was 87 to 71 in favour of Baronia. So they led all the key stats there in that game, in the first term. Into the second term, and it's very similar to what happened in the first term, but it was a bit of a feisty battle in that second term, and a couple of players got sent off in this game, but it all settled down, and Brony kicked the first goal through Matt Smith from the clearance in from the boundary throw-in to take the lead by a point. Tim Barry scored fantastic goals, one in the back and one from a free kick, and it pushed the North Ringwood lead back out to a 2-goal lead. But Josh Allison kicked one back in 2 minutes later in the 22nd minute to lead by to try by 6 points, and then Jack Whelan and Charles Padot scored 2 goals straight in within 2 minutes of each other to extend the lead out to 19 points before Brony hit one back very close to the end to get the margin back to 13 points as we're about to hit the second half here. And Brony down by 13 points, and send it back to you there at South Croydon. But Brony leading all the key stats, but they're trailing by 13 points.
Thank you very much, Will Taylor. A very punctual and short report there. Much appreciated from your good self. Just repeating that score at Division 3. North Ringwood 5-5-35 to Baronia 3-4-22. And we've got another score coming in from Division 2. Montrose leading Bayswater 8-8-56 to Bayswater 7-6-48. Always a fantastic game between those two clubs as well. Just still waiting on scores from Blackburn and Norwood in Division 1 and Doncaster East and Mooroolbark in Division 2. But I'm sure David Whalen from the Doncaster East Football Club will be all over that in the next couple of minutes, and Michael Dwyer from the Blackburn Football Club as well. Well, we're about to cross out to Daniel Senchik, and I'm actually not quite sure which game Daniel is at as well. So I'm looking forward to actually hear what game Daniel is actually at as well. So without further ado, Daniel Senchik, where the heck are you?
I'm at Morton Park, or as they call it, the Panther Pit, Ben Waterworth.
Yes.
It's an absolutely gorgeous day out here, and it's Norwood leading 5-3-33 to Blackburn 3-7-25. Just to go over a few quick notes as the third quarter's about to start. Norwood took a 10-point lead into quarter time. Their pressure shown early was absolutely fantastic, and their tackling pressure netted them rewards. McCormick's efforts inside 50 netted him a couple of frees, which got him on the board. They dominated the clearances early, in and under play, such as Nick Edge, and their backline stood firm when they got put under the pump, like Evan Johnson played absolutely fantastic. The difference early was that Norwood being able to hit targets when under pressure. However, the tide turned a bit when the co-captain Macaulay for Blackburn kicked an opportunistic goal out of mid-air to keep the Burners alive, and the catalyst for improvement in the second half of that first term for Blackburn. However, they squandered many opportunities in front of goal and allowed Norwood to punish on the scoreboard. The second quarter got underway, and it was started in similar vein to the first quarter. I mean, fantastic pressure shown by Norwood, going inside 50, efficiencies, and Stuart Hill setting the tone with his tackling pressure was fantastic. And Blackburn, again, very wasteful in front of goals. And costly, undisciplined errors by Norwood, though, gifting Blackburn goals, getting them back into the game. And Mitch Colvin, the new recruit for Blackburn, put them on the scoreboard early in that second term to get them back into the game. And late in that second quarter, the teams traded goals, whether it was between Brad Murray and... sorry, I can't quite get that other goal kicker. But, the teams traded goals late in that second quarter, and Blackburn got right back into the game. Half-time score, 5-3-33 Norwood, Blackburn 3-7-25. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Burns respond. I think they've been a bit overwhelmed by the pressure early by Norwood, and you would think, given where the two teams finished on the ladder last season, that Blackburn should get this job done easily, but not the case at the moment.
Thank you very much, Daniel Senchik out there at Morton Park. Just repeating that score, Norwood 5-3-33, leading Blackburn 3-7-25. A tight one out there at Morton Park, and Dan doing a fantastic job right here on EFL Game Day. We're going to take a break here on EFL Game Day. Come back after the break. Ben Warren-Smith is going to step back into the host chair, and we're going to be back with all the action. We look like we've probably got the best game in the Eastern Football League this afternoon. It's South Croydon and Croydon, 8-5-53 apiece. Nothing separating these two teams except for a bit of name title, because South Croydon and Croydon just by themselves. But we're going to be back after the break right here on EFL Game Day.
Tune in to Anything Goes on Radio Eastern. 2 hours of musical variety with your host, Rex Shields. You will hear music from the great singers from the 30s to the 70s, as well as a little country, a little jazz, and music from the shows. Just think of the program as a bag of licorice all sorts. You never know what you're going to get. Remember, Anything Goes from 2 p.m. every Monday afternoon. Music with Rex Shields in the Radio Eastern style.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Galley Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Galley Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Galley, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Galley Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Radio Eastern 98.1, and just a progress score between Carlton and Essendon. It's coming up to almost the third quarter, and it's Essendon 10-17-77 leading Collingwood 5-12-42. Major goal kickers for Essendon is Davey with 3, and also Crayman with 1, and for Carlton, Betts has 3, and also Gunnett has 1. So just repeating, coming up the third quarter, 10-17-77 Essendon to Collingwood 5-12-42.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Galley Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Galley Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Galley, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Galley Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Looking for that perfect steak to sink your teeth into? Then Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone is the place to take your family to get your 18-hour slow-cooked steak fix. While it's simply the best steak on the planet, if you have to go past it, try their great range of sensational salads, burgers, wraps, and a terrific light options menu, so there's something to please everyone's tastes. Hog's Breath Cafe has a distinctive style for people who enjoy casual dining experiences. Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone Shopping Centre. Phone 9887 4555. That's 9887 4555. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner, and groups are most welcome. Hog's Breath Cafe, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Yes, having an absolute ball out at Cheong Park today. The big Division 1 Arndale Cup clash between South Croydon and Croydon. Scores are tied at half-time. What an exciting game we're seeing. 8 goals, 5.53 apiece. Brad Henderson, can you go through some of those major goal kickers for us in the first half?
I certainly can, Ben. And for South Croydon, 2 goals each for the zippy one, Michael King, and also Robert Mallison, who didn't just kick 2 goals, but kicked 2 fantastic goals in that first half. They were both contenders for goal of the day. And for Croydon, Justin Ficciarelli has kicked 3, and 2 goals to Trent Martin, who unfortunately probably won't see any further action today after limping off in the second quarter.
Players finding their positions here, getting ready for the start of the second half. Let's go for some stats. Thanks to Choose Tap. Match stats, Grant Campbell.
Well, Croydon, of course, kicked 6-2 to 2-2 in the second quarter, and what got them back into the game, they had a lot more kicks, double in fact, 58 to 29. The contested ball, they won 40 to 26. The marks inside 50, they had 6 to 1, and for the match, they lead that 10 to 1. And the forward 50 tackles, we saw South Croydon in the first quarter have 6 to 1. That reversed in the second quarter. Croydon had 5 to 0, and that's why Croydon got back into the match, and we have scores level currently.
Terrific work by you, Grant Campbell. Thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats. Peter Baird, well, what do these sides have to do to get in front of each other?
Oh, there's nothing between these two sides except probably about 2.5 kilometres at the moment at half-time. Both teams will be looking to open this quarter with a burst. We saw South Croydon reel back in Croydon after they jumped out of the blocks early. In that quarter, though, it was all Croydon. They took over around the contest and were able to mark inside 50.
Scores level to start this third quarter, 8 goals, 5 apiece, as the ball's tumbled forward there by King. And straight away, the Bulldogs getting the first clearance. And it was King to King, 2 of the 4 Kings combining there. And that was Dan to Zippy Michael. And Michael King, we know he's great.
Do you reckon he'll run around and snap it on the left? Because we know he likes to do those ones.
He does like to, but he's straight in front, so he's going to take a conventional shot at goal. but he doesn't look as convincing, does he, when he has just a straightforward shot? And again, he thinks it's a goal, and he cannot believe that the goal umpire has denied him a 6-pointer. So a minus score there for Michael King. He is still on 2 goals for the day.
So it'll be Callagher to bring the ball back in for the Blues. He goes towards the pack. Thatcher was there. Front spot. About 20 players around this football. His quickest way to the goals is going down the corridor. So it's at centre half forward.
We saw South Croydon get the ball out from that opening bounce of the quarter. The team that wins the stoppages around the quarter is the team that's dominating the scoreboard.
Getting up high that time was Thatcher, got the knockdown, comes down to Strawn, boots the ball inside 50, front spot. Who's charging out? Oh, it was a 2-on-1 situation. They're going to mop up here. You'd think the Blues, good handball there. That time by Van Florenston, chips the ball out. Wilkins needs to trap it, does so. Oh, he's a clever player, Wilkins, and he goes short. Squeezes it out to Hughes, takes off now, kicks up towards the wing position. They're moving the ball nicely. Weinart comes out. He's got players running across centre half forward. Haig calling for it. He's taking his time. He wants to go the switch. It's a risky kick, but he's going to go towards Thatcher in the middle, and it's paid off too because Thatcher takes the mark. Oh, a bit of how do you do off the play here as Croydon go up forward, up towards Ficcarelli. Couldn't quite take the mark. One bite hits the deck. He was managed to get it though. Eddie Bet style kicks it towards the top of the goal square. It's going to push through for a behind. That was an exciting bit of play by Ficcarelli to get off the ground so quickly. Pounced on the goals, but only through for a minor score. So that levels up once again here. 8-6-54 apiece, Brad Henderson.
Ben Osborne to bring the ball back in for the Bulldogs. 1 point lead to Croydon. They've given the behind to South Croydon on the scoreboard, but it was in fact the Blues who got that one.
No, they're just taking their time, evening it back up. Yes.
Slow to level the scores up again. So there's a great mark by Callagher. Strong mark on wing position. Measures the kick now. Looks at Jimmy Grant. Gave it on to Wilkins. Bull. Short pass by Bull. This is promising from the Blues. McConnell, got crunched there, but he still managed to drag in the mark. And that was good footy then from Croydon.
He really came into the game in that second quarter there, Brad Henderson, McConnell.
He did indeed. McConnell's high kick gives it all he's got right to the line, but Stevens fists it over for a minor score. And Croydon now nudge slightly ahead, one behind, in fact, the margin. They lead by a point. And Dan McConnell just starting to find the footy, as you said. Better second term from him. Needs a big second half as well.
So it'll be James Crowell. Bring the ball back in. South Croydon takes his time. It's a fair bit of purchase on the ball. Looks for the man playing his last game in Ace Costello. Couldn't get it. Stevens. Handball out wide. Kick up towards half forward. And a good mark there taken by Ben Gardner. So he's almost on the wing position. He's got players forward. Dan McConnell takes a mark. A couple of U-turns. They just probably need to move the ball a little bit quicker inside their forward arc to Croydon. Ball over the back of the pack. Kimpton. He was clever enough. He kicks it to the top of the goal square. Ficcarelli, one-on-one situation. Can he take a one-hander? No, it was good pressure by Marshall. Ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Right near the Croydon bar here in the forward pocket. Like seeing those little stores right out, serving that delicious, delicious James Bogues. The ball comes back in. Stephen over the back, picked up by Bull. He fell over at the top of the goal square, and they're going to get out of trouble. Kearney, the Dogs, handball off. All their hands and foot. Blair Allen got the handball out. Oh, it's pressure football. They're not going to give it away. Fielding on the right boot, just squeezes it through for Croydon. That is magnificent play. Got something out of nothing, and Croydon hit the lead. They already had the lead by a point, but they stretch it now to 7. Peter Baird. Fantastic bit of play by the Blues.
What they actually got out of nothing there was their forward pressure forced that turnover from South Croydon. South Croydon were trying to run the ball out using hands, but just unable to get any free space. The Croydon forwards shut them down with good tackling and closing pressure, forced the turnover, and Fielding's has not let his side down, putting them now 7 points in front.
Couple of Bulldogs faithful getting involved in the match. Let's go to Grant Campbell for Choose Tap Match Stats. It's only been a few minutes played.
A kick so far, 13-5 for the quarter in favour of Croydon.
Long kick forward that time for the Bulldogs. Croydon will clear though. Low handball from Wilson to Callagher. Back to Sean Wilson. Kicks into the path of Bull. Dale Bull's kick to Wilkins on a long lead. He's had a very good start to this third term, Matty Wilkins. Lovely pass. Over the top now to Haag. Short pass is on to McConnell. Promising build-up again from the Blues. Nice pass by McConnell. They just seem to be finding space. Andrew Hughes' kick to the pocket. Wynett was the target. Plenty of Bulldogs there to offer some opposition. And in the end, they dodge a bit of a bullet, South Croydon, by forcing a ball up.
Let's go through some of those division half-time scores. Lilydale lead by 27 over Knox, 8-point lead to Norwood over Blackburn, 6-point lead to East Burwood over Scoresby, 27-point lead by Noble Park over Baldwin, and 3 points Vermont over East Ringwood.
Quick kick came from Festini out of defence. Now it's with Dan King. Shares it with Mallison. Nice kick by Mallison. He's been damaging by foot today. Gave it to Costello, who gets crunched. As he kicks it though, no free kick. Right decision. There's the long ball from Crowell. And James Crowell's kick just off target. It was pretty close. Minor score for the Bulldogs. They trail by 6 points.
So they won't waste any time bringing it back in either. Across the half-back line, Callagher takes the mark. He's not going to waste it. Generally doesn't. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. He has over the top. Costello put the pressure on. The Bulldogs have got the numbers here in Crowell. Tries to squeeze around, but they do okay here. The Blues, Slattery. Found a player out wide. Dan McConnell is getting a bit of it. Centre wing position, right in front of the Croydon bench. Crowd definitely getting into this game, and why wouldn't they? It's their local derby, the Arndale Cup, Division 1, out at Cheong Park, kick up towards the Hague direction, a big fly and a terrific mark too. He presented well, the young kid kicks it up towards half forward, but it was a sloppy disposal, and Daniel King takes the mark across half back, gives a handball to Festini. Festini moves it into the middle, Molnar. He's got players running in support. Blair Allen, if the ball can just sit up for him, he's away. Allen takes it now, kicks it deep, inside 50, Zippy's over the back. Can he take the mark? No, he couldn't quite get there. Hughes is going to mop up, handball over the top, and the Blues are away through Wilson.
They are indeed. Wilson. Short pass is on to Palby. So Nathan Palby, he goes short. Dangerous kick was intended for Slattery. Ball, who's had a very solid game today. Dishes off the handball. Kick forward there by Wilkins. And the mark was held. True wing position now. A little bit forward of that, in fact. Haag's long ball.
Oh, what a mark.
Great mark by Kimpton, coming over the back, judged it perfectly, and in the end, a one great mark. He made that look relatively easy.
Made it hard for you to see, though, didn't he?
Did a little bit. Had to crane the neck to see that mark, but Lee Kimpton, he's done some good work today. He's already kicked one goal, shown just to certainly he's got a touch of class about him. Confident approach, liked it as soon as the ball left the boot, and Lee Kimpton has kicked his second goal, and now Croydon just open up a little bit of a lead. 2 goals the deficit, handy buffer in what's been such a tight game thus far.
It certainly has, Brad Henderson, but a fantastic mark there from Kimpton. Worked his player under the ball through solid use of the hips, was able to ride up on his back and take a fantastic mark, go back, kick the goal, opens up a little bit of break now for Croydon. South need the next goal to get back in this one.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. What a top game it is out here this afternoon. This time it was Molnar getting the handball out. That was beautifully done. Banged forward this time by Higgins. Goes deep. McCormack took one bite. Handball over the top. Can Allen kick the goal this time? Lost his feet and gave the handball out. They've still got runners out wide. This time it's Matty Crowell. Bangs it onto the boot and swings it around. You can't believe it. It's hit the post on the curl. And only a minor score is the result. I got a little bit excited there, Brad Henderson. But they reduced the margin to 11 points. South Croydon 8-8-56. Trailing Croydon 10-7-67.
Well, I might be underselling him, but he's probably only had about 2 kicks today, Matty Crowell, and he's kicked a goal with one of them, and he's almost kicked another great goal with his second kick. And it's fisted forward there by Cook. Slick handball from Nick King. Got it to Strawn. Strides away. Lovely pass. Gee, he's deadly by foot, Glenn Strawn. He's got that penetrating left foot pass. And he's found a teammate in Fulton.
Let's quickly look at those Division 2 scores at half-time. Montrose by 8 points over Bayswater, 26-point lead by Donvale over Mulgrave, 16 over Roeville over Upper Ferntree Gully, and 19-point lead by Doncaster. Broadbark and Doncaster East, get your scores in. We are waiting. Our friend Scotty Demetrio might be able to help us out with that.
Indeed, he might. It is, in fact, James Crowell who will have a shot for goal. Lovely pass by Strawn. Now Crowell's kick, very high. And he hangs it out to the right. Just a minor score there for the Bulldogs.
They've had a few chances this quarter, Brad Henderson. Poor kick, probably 2 in the last 5 minutes that he's missed. They really need to sit back and consolidate and get a goal here from these opportunities they've got in their forward 50.
Probably dominated the play the last 40 minutes, the Croydon Football Club. Grant Campbell, let's have a look at some of those important stats that are mattering at the moment, thanks to Choose Tab.
With the uncontested possessions, Croydon are getting on top this quarter, leading that 26-18.
Ball came out across half forward. This time it's Molnar. He could have had a shot on the left, swings it around, gave it to Allen. He's just nailed. Holding the ball is the decision. Got to go with the first options, and it's a bit of unlucky that Ben Gardner will be the person that, well, he takes a free kick. It's not unlucky for him because it was a brilliant tackle, but unlucky for Allen that he couldn't get ball to boot. Switches the play, Van Florenston.
Oh, no.
Likes this end of the ground. It's been lively. Goes short to Wilson. He's got players on. Slattery wants it short. He's now told him to go long. Probably is the better option. Jimmy Grant comes charging in. He might rise here. Put the fist away. Good defensive play by him. Came down to Kimpton. Little give. Handball now. They're going through the middle. That time it was Grant. Who's the running support here? It's Slattery. Traps the ball now. It's a brilliant pressure and a free kick that is rewarded too. So the umpire giving the free kick to Higgins. Wants to switch the play now. Ben Osborne gets around on that left boot. It's a beautiful kick. He goes deep at the back of the pack. King. It's a 3-on-1 situation. Paddling the ball towards the boundary line was Hughes. The safety of it is important. Goes through for a boundary throw-in. We've got a half-time score at Doncaster East, and it's Doncaster East leading by... The other way around, actually, it is Mooroolbark leading by 40 points over the Lions. The umpire balls it in. It's very deep in the Bulldogs' forward line. Hughes goes to ground. Oh, fresh air shot that time there by Matty Crow. Couldn't get there. Ball goes to the line. It's fisted through. Defensive play. It's a hot footy at this moment in the game. 8-10-58 are the South Croydon Bulldogs. They're trailing at the moment by 9 points. Croydon 10-7-67. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap match stats.
Inside 50s this quarter, 9-5 in favour of South Croydon, and they've probably got about the last 5.
Almost the goal kicked by Lee Stockdale on that occasion for the Bulldogs. And it is a goal that they really need because they haven't kicked a goal in this third quarter, the premiership quarter. They have not managed to salute in this term as Bull gets a handball away. Great tackle by Costello. Can he inspire his team? Free kick goes to Ace. Eamon Costello. Too far out to score, you would think.
How about he just goes for a barrel? Wouldn't that set the crowd alight?
Well, he's put the footy down and pulled the socks up and sort of given the impression that he's going to have a shot.
Slattery's coming off with, maybe it's Thatcher with the blood rule.
Boys.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira. Urgent care to Dyson Baker. It's a blood rule, isn't it, mate? Dyson Baker absolutely nowhere to be seen. I hope that's not the case when his baby is asking for a feed. But maybe we can cross back down now. Dyson Baker, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes, boys. Cam Stone for South Croydon obviously copped that knock in the first term. He will take no further part. I'll cross back to you, boys.
Kick was touched off the boot of Costello. Still travelled a fair way, though. They compete about 15 metres out. Quick kick by Stockdale again, and a minor score.
They've had some chances this quarter, South Croydon, deep in their forward 50. Just unable to get that goal to capitalise on the opportunities.
Callagher to bring the ball back in for Croydon once again. Crossed over the halfway mark of this third quarter. They do call it the premiership quarter. Headed towards the Cook direction, stood tall and took the mark too. Wants to go back in the middle. He had a good lead by McConnell, who's probably the person to kick to. He's in great form. Elects to go wide. It's Wilson of the Sean variety. Kicks it up towards Kimpton. Kick probably wasn't quite on target. The ball fisted away that time by Kearney. The boundary throwing right here in front of the broadcast position. Currently it is an 8-point lead to Croydon. They're just forward of centre. Umpire to bring it back in. Front spot that time by Cook, did well to paddle it down, but even better by Stevens, the big man, got down to ground level, got the handball out. Hot footy it is once again. The umpire will come in and have another bounce. Umpire's actually plucked one out here at ground level. They're pushing the back, and it'll be Croydon, the recipients of it. Tim Cook now drives the ball inside 50. It was a shank of a kick. Daniel King met the pill on the first bounce, did really well to get the handball away. Ferraccio found himself under pressure. Kimpton got the handball away. That was well done by Matty Wilkes, except for the fact that he got a push and he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. He has been paid it. He has been paid the free kick. The umpire's come right across from, nearly the middle of the ground to say no, that definitely was a push. Certainly didn't impress the guys on Can Hill, the South Croydon faithful. So it'll be Matt Wilkins deep in the pocket. We saw a couple of these get kicked in the first game today, one by South Croydon. Went for the snap. You heard the fans tell him all about it. 2 out of bounds on the full. And I think it'll be Daniel King to bring the ball back in. So missed opportunities. They could run. They've got an 8-point lead at the moment. They'll be looking to stretch that as King. Risky kick inside. About 40 metres out, Jimmy Grant just comes in, takes the mark, and he will definitely have a shot. Seasoned player, Jimmy Grant. Had a big milestone game last year against South Croydon, and he'll be looking to stretch the lead here for the Blues, Pete.
He will. And a real sloppy kick out of defence there from South Croydon. Grant was all on his own on the forward 50. So real poor defensive pressure.
Doesn't normally kick at the goals, but he likes also getting amongst it. Kicks from 50 metres, swings the ball back magnificently straight through the middle. And look at the boys get around him. Croydon stretch their lead to 14 points here this afternoon. South Croydon at 8-11-59. And, well, the scores aren't up yet, but they're 73 anyway, Croydon.
You say sloppy, Frosty, but as a matter of fact, that kick from Dan King was one of those kicks where it looked good off the boot. It spun perfectly through the air, but it was straight down the throat of an opponent.
Matty Price's Coldstream has got up by 49 points at three-quarter time. They haven't got up yet, but it's a hefty little lead in the Division 3 clash this afternoon. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Dice?
Yeah, thanks, Benny. Cam Stone obviously got knocked out in that first turn. It's just gone to Justin Ficarelli.
McConnell's kicked forward, but it's been well marked in defence by King. It's Nick King this time, short to Strawn. It's usually good by foot. This is no exception. Finds Allen, another left footer. Blair Allen's kick wasn't up to the task, was intended for Stockdale. Strong tackle applied. And is there a genuine effort there from the Blues player to get rid of it? The umpire said no. Holding the ball paid. And looked like a little bit of a token effort from Callagher there on the ground to try to dispose of the ball. That was the way the umpire saw it.
He was trying to disguise it, wasn't he?
Well, even from here, you could sort of tell. It looked like it was one of those ones where you're sort of waving the hand, but it's a bit of a half-hearted effort to genuinely try to get rid of it. And that's a lovely kick from Stockdale. Beautiful kick from... they've got some dangerous left footers in this South Croydon team. And Lee Stockdale is another one. He's kicked the goal. That's his first of the day. And it's now back to just 8 points the margin with Croydon leading.
A couple of chances, Peter Baird, by Croydon in the last 5 minutes. Went without a goal, and then South Croydon really, they drove the ball long. They did it quickly, and that was a good bit of play.
Yeah, it just seems that the team's hurting the opposition on the rebound. One team will have the ball deep inside their forward 50, and the opposition seem to run it out and score it at the other end.
Umpire throw. Oh, sorry, mate. I thought you'd finished. Umpire threw it up because here they come, the Bulldogs again. Molnar missed what he probably, he should have received because it should have been a better handball to him anyway. Kick by Slattery up to the half-forward line, getting in front position. That time was Nick King. Couldn't quite take the mark. Managed to get the handball away. It's a hot footy across the 50-metre line, and we will have a bounce. Oh, it's all happening here. 8 points the difference. 11-7-73 Croydon, 9-11-65 are the South Croydon Football Club. Ball on the Croydon 50-metre line. Stevens, he's good at getting down when he doesn't get the tap out, the big man. They're going to go forward though this time, the Blues. Good tackle. You're gone, Wilkins, and it'll be a free kick. This time it'll go to Allen. That'll even go to Higgins. He's got players out wide. Strawn getting amongst it here in the third quarter. Gives a long looping handball over the top. Went straight through the legs of Stockdale, but he had enough time. Swings back around, handball. Oh, wasn't fancy. Marshall just waited for it. Should have attacked the football. Son, go after it. Glenn Slattery for Croydon. He did the job. Kicked it into the middle of the ground. Now they're going to pump the ball on the broadcast position here. It becomes a foot race, 2-on-1 situation. Who's going to get it? This is brilliantly done by Nathan Haig. Kick off the left, and once again, it's a hot pocket. It's like they're trying to hit that cheer spot up in the South Croydon fans. And it's out of bounds on the full once again, Brad, with South Croydon bringing it back.
And the umpire saying that Festini, I guess, is going to have to kick over the man on the mark. So the ball deep in defence for the Bulldogs. 8-point lead still at this stage to Croydon.
Let's go to Grant Campbell with some choose tap match stats.
Clearances this quarter, 8-3 in favour of South Croydon.
Boundary throw-in just in front of the South Croydon interchange bench. And Stevens there getting a ruck against Thatcher. Bull takes possession, but he's immediately bundled up by both Ferraccio and Stevens.
Terrific prize awarded to the Trojan workhorse of the day this afternoon. You get a toolbox with the absolute lot. I'll run through it after the game.
A lot of players over the footy. Free kick was over the shoulder, and the free kick will go to King. This is Nick King this time. With Strawn. A bit of a floater this time, not his best effort. Strawn into open space. The Blues steady through Kimpton now, has a bit of time, measures the pass. But it's blocked there by Festini, the veteran. Dishes off a handball to Kearney. Kearney's pass to Stevens. Plenty of time now for the Bulldogs. Hugging the boundary was Big Stick, Stratton Stevens. And put another ball.
Could have drawn the player then.
Free kick goes to the Blues. That was Dixon. His kick was intended for King to Strawn's handball into open space. Strawn goes in hard again, tries to gather it in. The Blues will set it up. Jimmy Grant was confronted. Obvious free kick must go the way of the Blues. Grant floats it forward. Ball kick though. And the ball lands safely in the arms of Nick Molnar for the Bulldogs.
So Molnar goes through the middle, gets it to Allen. They've got players running. Osborne could have given a little gig away to King, didn't want to. Osborne kicks up towards half forward, absolutely nowhere. The kick travelled about 50 metres though. So the ball's back in the defensive arc. And Ryan Wilson with it for Croydon. I don't know if it's worth trying to slow the clock down. He's asking for players to run up. Asks for Tim Cook to stand up, gets in position. Molnar over the back, 1 bite, 2. Couldn't quite pull it down. Ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. We've got some Division 3. Three-quarter time scores. It's North Ringwood by 16 points over Baronia, and the Eastern Lions in Division 4, 46 points over the Park Orchards Football Club. Umpire throws it in. Well done there that time by Thatcher. Thumps it straight back over the line. He's got that bit of headgear now and a bit of blood wiped up and taped up. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira. Urgent care to Dyson Baker and Natalie Ioannidis.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben Warren-Smith. Yeah, Camstone came on for about a minute and a half, and I reckon the South Croydon hierarchy have basically called him for the rest of the day. So South Croydon a man down. On the other side, Martin, no boots on him. So I reckon both sides a man down going into this last quarter and a half.
Thank you very much. Thanks to Akira, Urgent Care. Dyson Baker and Natalie Ioannidis doing a great job boundary side this afternoon on a perfect Cheong Park. Ball's knocked forward. They've got the numbers once again. This is Nick King. Just bangs it on the boot. That's what they've got to do. And front spot. Sometimes it'll be Lux of Fortune and Brad Henderson. That time it was, because coming out to take a ripper mark was... it was Allen. No, it was even James Crowell. How many goals has he kicked this afternoon? No, he's been amongst it.
One goal. Yeah, just 1 goal for James Crowell.
Oh, what an important kick it is for him deep in this third term. Kicks at this end have seemingly gone right through the middle all afternoon. The wind's working favourably for them. So Crowell 5 metres out to put through his second goal. It was never in doubt, off the boot, over the goal umpire's head. Puts through his second. That's South Croydon's 10th. And they move to 10 goals, 11-7. Peter Baird, 11-7-73 Croydon.
Yeah, fantastic movement there from South Croydon. They get the ball deep inside their forward without allowing the South Croydon defenders to fight back. Crowell let out, playing in front, the spot you need it to be. Was able to put that goal on the board for South Croydon to reduce that margin back to just the 2 points.
Yeah, Exciting third quarter at this stage. It is just 2 points to the margin. 73 plays, 71. As it's back in the middle once more. Thatcher couldn't quite gather it in cleanly. Ferraccio on hands and knees tries to shovel the ball out, but it went the way of Croydon. Wilkins, little kick over the top, looking for Ficciarelli. Chance there for Grant, but Osborne takes possession. Osborne's kick was a good one.
Very good.
And it was a nice pass. And he finds Ferraccio. So Alex Ferraccio's kick on a long lead. McCormick gave it to Fulton, put him under a lot of pressure.
Oh.
And he's very lucky to get a free kick there. And then he runs into a fair bit of trouble. Now we've got, what, a 25-metre penalty, which also seems fortuitous.
So the 25-metre penalty was a South Croydon player running across the line of players he was playing on. So a little bit stiff, but it definitely was 25 metres. Lucky to get it to begin with, though, Brad.
Fulton backpedaled with the handball, gave it to Costello, looks for a team-lifting goal, but Keem Van Florestein safely takes the mark. Lovely pass by him, and the Blues come out of defence now. So they just sum up the options. Not a great kick. Matthew Crow this time working hard against McConnell. And the ball up will result. 2-point lead still to the Croydon team.
It's a game befitting the Arndale Cup clash today, BWS. Both teams showing plenty of heart and spirit and fighting this one right out.
It's the only reason why we came down here, Peter Baird. We knew it was going to be a hot contested clash this afternoon as the Bulldogs surge forward once again. This time it'll be Stockdale, kicks it to the top of the square. Who's going to be front and centre? Zippy King. He loves his situation and he gets a goal. That was an important one. And the Doggies hit the front once again. They move to 11-11, 77. It's a 4-point lead now to the home side. 11-7-73 is the Croydon Football Club as we go into time on. And that's his third goal, is it, Brad Henderson?
It is indeed. 3 goals for Zippy King and plus at least 1 and maybe 2 that he thought he'd kicked.
How impressive is Zippy King in reading those ball off the hands of the pack like that? Just has that uncanny knack of being in the right spot, being able to read the ball off the player's hands down there. Fantastic, and finishes it off surely every time.
Big 10 minutes by the South Croydon Football Club. Let's go to Grant Campbell. What's happened in the stats thanks to Choose Tap?
Well, we saw South Croydon only get 6 behinds from their first 10 inside 50s. The last 4 inside 50s, much better, 3 goals. So they've really improved their efficiency.
They have indeed, as the Blues come out of the middle. Neat kick, looking for hard. Got a push. King hated the decision, but so did some supporters around us.
Three-quarter time score coming through from Jubilee Park thanks to Trent off the text line. It is a 5-point lead to Heathmont, 75-70.
Ficciarelli there, I think he had it spent before he marked it. He really should have taken the mark, but he juggled it, fumbled it, and that just allowed King to score. So boundary throw in. Palm down to Ficciarelli. Strong tackle. Osborne off and running now. Benny Osborne. And Costello set himself, McCormick for the mark. Off hands to Mallison, who's dangerous. He's kicked 2 great goals today. And third. Minus score there for Robbie Mallison. The Bulldogs are peppering the goals in this quarter, but they just can't quite convert their opportunities. That's 11-12-78, Bulldogs to Croydon, 11-7-73, 5-point lead. South Croydon.
Speaking of Ben's, it'll be Ben Gardner to bring the ball back in now for Croydon. It was a good kick too. Dale Bull got the front spot. Took a good grab. It was brought down after he tackled it, but he's a strong ox. He's going to get a 25-metre penalty as well. The umpires aren't mucking around. They mean business this year in Division 1 and let alone the Eastern Football League. Still more going on with it on the way down to the mark. It'll be Dale Bull. Brought himself up to the middle of the ground nearly now. Squeezes a pass inside. That was Hughes that took it. Probably nearly copped one. Well, he did cop one. They're risking it. Don't want to give away another 25. The Doggies have had a good few minutes. Sean Wilson in the middle of the ground. Goes to Callagher out wide. He's got players even further wide in Dan McConnell. So They're working the possession well, Croydon. Hitting the targets, McConnell kicks it up towards the Weinart direction. The big fella got up high. Ball hits the deck. Who's going to be there for the doggies? That was a good play then by Stockdale. Weinart now swings around on the left for Croydon, kicks it to the top of the square. Ficcarelli's there, over the back of the pack, rush through. It was a good play for that time there by Dylan Marshall.
It was those situations, BWS, where Croydon would love to have the big fella, Damien Cupido, in the goal square to mop up those quick kicks forward like that.
Absolutely, 11-8-74 is Croydon. They're trailing by 4 points, 11-12-78, the doggies.
So King brings the ball back in and finds Ben Osborne, who's always a cool head. Usually sums up the situation well. Driving kick up towards the wing position. Heavy Shepherd applied as the siren sounds. It's a quick siren, that one, isn't it? It's that is the end of the third quarter, and at three-quarter time, South Croydon lead 11 goals, 12-78 to Croydon, 11-8-74 as tempers fray just a little bit as the players head off for three-quarter time.
Arndale Cup day out at Cheong Park, Division 1, South Croydon versus Croydon. It's an absolute ripper. 4-point lead to the doggies at three-quarter time. Coming up after the break here on EFL Game Day, we'll be wrapping up the third quarter and all the round the ground scores.
Hi, I'm Brian Amos, and I invite you to join me at 2 p.m. each Friday afternoon for Independent Country, incorporating country music profile when I talk to an independent artist in Australia. I look forward to your company each Friday afternoon on Radio East 98.1.
Connect East, the owner and operator of EastLink, the EFL EastLink Road Safe program, along with the EFL Road Safe RACV and the Hawthorn Football Club. As the operator of one of Melbourne's safest roads, the importance of reaching out to young motorists about road safety. In 2011, hundreds of players and officials from EFL clubs will attend these road safety sessions and walk away better equipped to make driving decisions when behind the wheel. Connect East, the owner and operator of EastLink, proud supporters of Radio Eastern and the Eastern Football League.
Point one at a quarter after 4. Checking some AFL scores now. And in the game between Carlton and Essendon, it's the 25-minute mark of the last quarter, and Essendon definitely will win this game. Essendon 14-8-102, leading Carlton 11-12-78. Major goal kickers for Essendon, Craman has 4, Davey 3, and Fletcher 1. It's 4 and 1 each to Garlett and Gibbs. And the other game being played between Collingwood and Port Adelaide. It's three-quarter time, and Collingwood 13-11-89 lead Port Adelaide 8-8-56. And for Collingwood kickers, Cloak has 3, Sidebottom 2, and Wellington also 2. And for Port Adelaide, Gray and Schultz have 2 each. They're your AFL update scores.
Thought that outbreak was never going to come. I am starving, Benny, and it's your shout for a change. Where are we going?
Mate, we're staying local and we're heading out to the Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone to get our chops around an 18-hour slow-cooked steak.
Yeah, not really after the steak at the moment, mate. What else have we got?
Mate, it is simply the best steak on the planet, but if you have to go past it, try their great range of sensational salads, burgers, wraps, menu. So there's something to please everybody, even you, mate.
I tell you, it's sounding better every time you describe it. But are we going to have to book ahead?
It'd be wise, mate. So phone ahead at Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone Shopping Centre on 9887 4555. That's 9887 4555. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner, and groups are most welcome.
Well, that settles it. We're off to Hog's Breath Cafe at Knox Ozone, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com. Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local.
And you would not want to be anywhere else here on EFL Game Day because we have got an absolute beauty out at Cheong Park. South Croydon 11-12-78, leading Croydon 11-8-74. 4 points is the margin. Game. Other games in Division 1 around the grounds. Lilydale 9-14-68 to Knox 8-9. Norwood 7-8-50, leading Blackburn 4-10-34. Scoresby have kicked ahead after a half turn by them. Scoresby 12-12-84 to East Burwood 10-3-63. Noble Park 12-5-77. 11-47. In Division 2, Montrose 12-10-82, comfortably leading Bayswater 8-11-59. Donvale 13-7-85 to Mulgrave 7-6-48. Rowville 12-13-85, leading Upper Ferntree Gully 6-6-42. And Doncaster 11-10-76, leading the Waverley Blues 6-15-51. In Division 3, North Ringwood, tight one out at Tullamore Reserve. North Ringwood 9-5-59, leading Boronia 6-7-43. As BWS just said, Heathmont 11-9-75 to Ringwood 11-4-70. The Glen Waverley Hawks 15-9-99 to the Churnside Park Footy Club 13-8-86. A great quarter by Churnside Park, 8 goals in that third term. Coldstream doing it really well against Warrandyte. Coldstream 102 to Warrandyte 8-5-53. In Division 4, Canterbury, big win coming up for them, 17-10-112. Forsyth 6-8-44. Eastern Lions 12-10-82. Park Orchards 4-12-36. South Belgrave 13-9-87, comfortably over Ferntree Gully 7-5-47. And the Basin doing it easy over Forest Hill, big turn by them, 8 goals to 1 in the third term. The Basin 13-15-93 over Forest Hill 6-3-39. That is a 54. Just getting some other scores through here on the text line, and it is the Vermont Football Club in a tight one over East Ringwood. 9-71 to East Ringwood at 9-12-66. Grant Campbell, some stats that matter. Thanks to Choose Tap, Yarra Valley Water. Be smart, Choose Tap.
Third quarter saw a massive change in the clearances, with South Croydon winning the clearance camp 13-4. And the other two main stats were the handballs, which reflected a different style of play. Croydon winning the kicks 58-42, South Croydon 38-22 in total handballs. So they had the same number of disposals, but South Croydon preferring to handball more often than Croydon, who prefer to kick. And the other main stat, the contested possessions, you can always go back to that. South Croydon in the third quarter had 39-37, which means every team that's won the contested possession count has won a quarter so far this season in the AFL.
Beautiful. Tap match stats. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to another sponsor, Akira Urgent Care. Dyson Baker, you're at the Croydon huddle, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben. Warren Smith. Brett Chandler basically said fitness is the key. It was disappointment with the lack of movement through that second half of the term. He said they needed to get ball in dangerous spots. Too many times they were being caught going out wide, trying to push forward. So this game will demonstrate the improvement that they managed off season. He said this will demonstrate that change in mindset from 2011 into 2012. Nat?
Well, we had a calm and composed Ben Delarue in that huddle. He said just to stick to the structures and play. If they play well, they'll win the game. He wasn't happy with any silly free kicks that were given away in that quarter. And again, one of the main messages was just to keep front and centre and to kick long and direct to forwards.
4-point lead to South Croydon, 11 goals 12 to 11 goals 8, and it should be an exciting last quarter. It's been a close game all day, apart from a short time in that first quarter where the Bulldogs opened up a handy lead. Otherwise, it's been pretty well goal for goal as the handball's dished off. Chance here for King around the corner. Not his best effort. He was disappointed with himself on that occasion. Minor score for Michael King, who has kicked 3 goals today, Ben.
They move out to a 5-point lead. How did you see that third quarter? The big man who milks cows for a living.
Mate, the team that, as Grant Campbell said, the team that's winning the clearances and the contested ball around the stoppages is the team that gets on top every quarter. So look for that trend to continue this quarter. The team that can continue that will win this game.
Kick out by Callagher, found Cook. It was a good grab on the second bite. Loving the work by Darren McKenzie from Loft Productions this afternoon. Kick out wide. Mark taken there. Oh, can you see who that one was, Brad?
That was Gardner.
Let's move it on anyway. McConnell in the middle of the ground. Looking to switch the play. fooled everyone into it, because then he ended up going out wide. They're going to drive the ball forward, and a good mark. I think that's out there, taken by Kimpton. Going to kick to the top of the square. Who's in the hot spot here? It's a hotly contested footy, nearly a free kick paid too, but it'll be the Doggies to run away. Stockdale gets it across half back. He's got players running wide. Matty Crowell. Also got Mallison. It's the latter that got the ball. So just taking his time, waiting for players to get up to him. Long kick up towards the 50-metre line, and a big fly over the top that time by Allen. Couldn't bring it down. Well played there by Van Florenston. Paddled it towards his teammates' advantage. Cook ran it over the boundary line. Another throw in. So Slattery no doubt will go up in the ruck in this one. No, he won't. I thought he was walking towards it. McCormick, who got the fist down this time. Got it to his teammates' advantage. Steeny. Ball in front of us here on centre wing. Matty Wilkins kicks it up. Oh, what's been played here?
Well, he was having his arm held the whole time he was trying to go for the footy. McConnell had a hold of the arm.
So the Dogs to reload again. This time through Molnar. Goes deep. McCormack's got the front spot, and he stands strong and takes a ripper mark. It really was a 2-on-1 situation, but the judging of the flight of the ball was a difficult thing. And McCormack, who started so lively in this first term, or even first half, has come back and could put in through Peter Baird a very important goal for the Dogs.
This is the player that Ben Deller will be looking for the big lift for in the last quarter. He was on top in that third quarter, rarely cited in the second and third, but he's come out and taken a strong mark now in the final.
So it'll be McCormack. He's ticked one today. Rory's second, and the Doggies are up to an 11-point lead. That's an important goal. They move on to 12 goals, 13, 11 goals, 874. What a game we're seeing here. We know we keep saying it. Grant Campbell, it's been early in his final term.
So far in the final quarter, South Croydon 10 kicks to Croydon 7 and 3 handballs to 2. Inside 50, that was their 7th of the game, and they've been able to convert those chances most of the time.
Back in the middle, Stevens against Cook this time. He's had a number of different opponents today. Croydon sharing the ruck load amongst a bigger spread of players, whereas Stevens and Fulton who have pretty much done all the work.
What about the contested ball stats and the clearances this quarter, Grant?
Got to say the sponsor too. We are Choose Tap. Match stats.
Taking possession was Slattery. Ball, did he get pushed in the back? They appeal for it. No, free kick's going to, it is going to Dale. Ball, hand in the back. Untidy handball to Fielding. Really sold him a bad one there. And King takes the mark. He was on the end of the pass. Zippy King doesn't waste any time. That was ambitious.
Ace!
Oh, Costello. Excuse me. Well, I don't know if you would put that kick up for too many other players, but it was almost as if he thought it's ace and he'll take the mark. So King got Costello, and in this situation, you back him in. Scratch pattern that he has been for many years for South Croydon. Amy Costello kicks the goal, he splits the middle, and a captain's goal for South Croydon there, kicked by Amy Costello, and lead by 17 points.
That was a real poor handball from the Croydon player in the middle of the ground. Put Fielding under all sorts of pressure. And the ball picked out of his pocket there by Strawn, who was able to dish it off to King, who put that ball up in the air for Costello. Just a tackling pressure again from South Croydon. Got this one more, BWS.
We're in the last quarter across the east. Go local for your football. Send in your scores to 04104955. He's at every ground in the east this afternoon, and he's waiting for your scores. Dale Bull has it in the middle of the ground. They're not done with yet, the Blues. He kicks it up towards half forward, and now becomes a foot race. Not too good by Hagee. Worried about the player instead of the ball, and it was a ball, but was run over the boundary line and out of bounds. Throw in about 50 metres out from the Croydon goals. They'll be looking to get the trailing by 13 points. They led deep into the third term before a couple of late goals by South Croydon brought the game back into their favour. The umpire balls it in. He's plucked out a free kick too. It'll go the way of Croydon against Stevens. He's not happy about it either. Jimmy Grant the recipient. Got his body in the front spot. That was okay. Ficarelli bangs it forward. It was Kimpton. Oh, it was a bit of a shocking kick, really. It's hardly smothered off the boot. We'll have a bounce 10 metres out from goal. Croydon end. Plenty of players down there, Peter Baird. You can take one out of this.
Yeah, the South Croydon defence have flooded back in numbers in support here. They'll be looking to clear that ball out. Croydon
versus Cook. Cook tried to work himself under the football. Kick off the ground. Oh, that's brilliant play there. I think it might even be Wynard. Was it Brad Henderson who banged it on his left boot from about 10 metres out and manages to kick a goal for Croydon. This just shapes it up again. Margin reducing here. It is 80 playing 91. I'm not waiting on the scoreboard, but it's 11-point ball game. It's going to go down to the wire, Pete.
Yeah, I'm just watching the player who kicked that goal there. He's coming off the ground there. Looks very ginger.
Who is it,
Dyson?
Dyson?
Work out who it is.
So an 11-point ball game.
It was Dale Bull.
So Bull, I knew it was a single digit. That's why I went with Wynard, but he wasn't that big. I should have known better. Brad Henderson, as we throw it back to you.
It's all right. It's the same hair colour, so easy mistake to make. A lot of players over the footy, and we'll have a ball up. It is 11 points the lead for South Croydon. That was a much-needed goal by Croydon. It's been interesting the way today that usually a team that when they've pulled in front, they then kicked a couple of goals just to stretch the lead a little bit before the comebacks has started. Costello, he's had a lot of kicks smothered today, Eamon Costello. Quick kick by Mallison for goal number 3, and Robbie Mallison has kicked his third great goal of the day.
Well, a beautiful answer there, Peter Baird, by South Croydon. Just when the Blues had edged in within 2 goals, a perfect answer and a sneaky little goal there.
It certainly was. Fantastic snap there by Mallison. Croydon won't go away. South Croydon just trying to finish them off here, but they can't just put them away. That goal might be the difference. It's out to a 2-goal break now.
Let's look at some of the Division 1 scores at 3-quarter time. Lilydale lead by 11 over Knox. It is Blackburn trailing by 16 against Norwood. Scoresby by 21 over East Burwood. 30-point lead by Noble Park over Baldwin. And a close one still, Vermont by 5 over East Ringwood.
Festini there all wrapped up. Molnar, in fact, it was, who suffered some cramp in this last quarter, but he seems okay at the moment.
Is that score on the scoreboard wrong, Brad Henderson? The 13-14 should be 92, is that correct?
13-14 should be 92, that's spot on. Should be 92 to 80. Molnar tracks the footy down, had Strawn in support. It was Strawn who received the favourable bounce. Shares it with Molnar. Short pass is on. So the Bulldogs look to go forward. Just taking full allotment of time. There's the kick looking for McCormick, and he gave a little shove in the back. So free kick will go to the Blues. And it will go to Callagher, but it's going to have to come back. So Brad Callagher is usually pretty safe with the footy in his hands. That kick hugs the boundary. It was intended for Ryan Wilson and was punched over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Let's go through some of the Division 2 scores at 3-quarter time. 23-point lead by Montrose over Bayswater. It's Roval by 43 over Upper Ferntree Gully. Doncaster by 25 over the Waverley Blues. We're still waiting on your score. Doncaster East and Mirrabbark. Scotty, help us out again there, mate. And it is Donvale easily over Mulgrove.
Quick kick came forward. Fisted away though by Wilson. McCormick gave it to King. Did he tackle? The umpire said he did.
He did.
Michael King felt the ball was sort of just jarred free from his grip, but the umpire didn't see it that way.
Incorrect disposal either way, Brad Henderson.
Yep, no, fair enough. Forward by Wilson. Outside the defensive 50. Free kick will go to Bentley for Croydon. Haven't seen a lot of Josh Bentley. Spent some time on the bench. Short pass is on.
Working beautifully, Scotty Demetrio out at Zerby's reserve this afternoon. It's a good day for the Mustangs. They lead by 5 goals at 3-quarter time, 13-13, 91. Doncaster East 9-7, 61.
It was an up and under kick from McConnell. Allen now for the Bulldogs. Driving kick for McCormick. McCormick charges out and takes the mark. Doesn't waste any time. Beautiful pass.
Very good.
That's great footy from the Bulldogs. From their half-back line right to deep in their forward line. And great work from McCormick. First of all, the lead-up from him was excellent. And then perfect pass honouring the lead of Crowell.
He's a big unit, isn't he?
James Crowell is a big unit. Yeah, he's got plenty of size about him. Pretty strong in the upper body. And he looked fairly agile on that lead, though. He showed a bit burst of speed as he charged out ahead of Callagher. There's the kick by Crowell.
Look at McCormack celebrating.
Kicked the goal. Some real celebrations after that goal. James Crowell's kicked his third of the day, so he sort of snuck up on me a little bit, Ben. I wasn't aware that he'd been as damaging as that, but he's now got 3 goals today, James Crowell.
He's been a fantastic player all day, Brad Henderson. He's probably kicked 3 or 4 behinds as well. Hasn't really capitalised on those opportunities, but continues to provide that target that South Belgrave are looking for. What I really liked about that bit of play, though, was the way McCormick spun around and got it to Crowell quickly without waiting too long.
Scoreboard says 4 goals. Is it 3 goals now, Brad? Is that how it's working? Or are we trusting the scoreboard?
No, well, they had the goals and behinds right, but they had the total score wrong.
Rightio.
Now it'll be right.
So a 23-point margin to the Doggies as Molnar comes out for the middle. Kick was smothered. They're not done with yet. Here comes McConnell. He's going to charge to the 50. He's going to unload. It was a mongrel kick, but Lux of Fortune maybe. Nearly taking a mark was Dan Fielding. They've got time and they've got the quick answer too. Croydon kick a goal, and a very important one too. That's their 13th. And I think it was a kick there by Daniel Fielding on the left boot too. So thank you very much to Ben Waterworth, who just seems to be everywhere, including here this afternoon, working beautifully on who that goal was. Let's cross down boundary side. I want to know what the feeling is down there. It's heating up. Dyson Baker and Natalie Ioannidis, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, both these side supporters really getting into the match now. A lot of chants and things coming from various supporter groups, and it's lovely to see just either side supporters nice and close to each other, giving each other a little bit of banter. A lot of feeling in this one as we close in the last few minutes.
A game heating up here, but it's heating up everywhere else. Division 3 this afternoon. Templestowe by 28 over Wantirna South. Look forward to hearing Corey Hall's report after the game. 16-point lead by North Ringwood over Baronia. Heathmont by 5 over Ringwood. The Glen Waverley Hawks by 13 over Churnside Park. Coldstream easily by 49 over the Bloods. And Whitehorse Pioneers, Mitcham. GMAC, get your scores in. We need them.
17-point lead to South Croydon. Back in the middle once more. And quickly comes out now through Grant. Got it to McConnell. Good tackle by Ferraccio. And apologies to Dan McConnell. It was actually Bentley then who coughed up the footy and conceded the free kick. Ferraccio's kick to Molnar, judged it very well, hands it off to Festini. The evergreen, Dion Festini's kick, kept it pretty low. Bulldogs keep going though. Chance here for Thatcher. He's had a pretty good second half. Driving kick.
Oh! Big
leap came from the back there by Marshall, but never realistically looked like he was going to drag it in. Kick around the corner by Florentine. A lot of players over the footy. It's locked up there. Wilkins got involved, so too did Bull. And we'll have a ball up.
Not so close in Division 4 this afternoon. 70-point lead by Canterbury over Kilsyth. 46 by the Eastern Lions over Park Orchards. 40 points South Belgrave over the Ferntree Gully Eagles. 54 by Forest Hill. 85 over Surrey.
Well, the kick there by Dale. Ball drifted across the face of goal and into the opposite forward pocket. So still a chance for the Blues, but time running out for them. Out of defence, Ferraccio. High kick. Fisted away. Chance here for Crowell. Matty Crowell. Couldn't gather it in. Wilkins did well. Gave it to Bentley. Short pass by Hughes was a good one. And on the long lead, McConnell. Doesn't waste any time. Belts it forward.
Great mark.
Lovely mark. Gee, that was a good grab. Just floating in from the side, Cam Van Florentine, who's gone forward in this
I like the change up that he's gone forward. He's a big body. He's a smart footballer. And when you need to kick a couple of late goals, he's probably the man to go to.
Yeah, they've got to roll the dice at the moment. You're right, Ben, and they need to try something different to get back into this game.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap very quickly.
Contested possessions 20-19 for Croydon for this quarter.
Van Florestein across the face of goal, minus score, and that's a disappointing
Free
finish.
kick to the Dogs.
In fact, yeah, it will be a free kick deep in defence for the Bulldogs. And it looks like Marshall, who has the free kick. Dylan Marshall goes short. Out of defence, Osborne. Nice kick by Osborne up towards half-back. High kick by Gardner. Up and under, Faracio's had a very good last quarter, but he coughed it up to Dixon. Chance here for McConnell. Can he slam home the goal? No, across the face. Mark taken, though, in the forward pocket by Wynett, who is a left footer, and he's going to find it very tricky to kick the goal from this tight angle. Not sure if Brendan Wynett can kick a goal from such a tight position. So let's see what Wynett can conjure up. He needs a bit of a trick up his sleeve here. What's he done? Oh. He's gone for the check side kick, but he's missed. And a minor score there for Brendan Wynett, and chances are running out for Croydon.
Start thinking of your votes for the Narellan Pools Player of the Day, not to mention the Trojan Workhorse of the afternoon. You enjoy that one, don't you, Pete?
Certainly do.
So just waiting for the ball to return to the goal square so we can restart the match. So time running out. You'd suspect there's only 7 or 8 minutes left in this final term. Time to get the score on the board if they can. Croydon kick out. Stevens takes the handball. McCormack, good turn of foot. Was on his wrong side, gives a handball away. Wanted to get the 1-2. Faraccio couldn't get it back to him, but they've still got the numbers. Swings around on his left foot. Kick it up towards the Zippy King direction. You got to pay the man in front, and it will go to King. He probably didn't have a lot of it, but he's definitely the man in front. The umpire's actually paid a ball up. He couldn't decide between the two. I always thought the rule was the man in front gets paid the possession. Knocked down McConnell. Traps it. Handball over the top. They've got a bit of run here. Here goes Bull. Bull on the left foot. Got players up further. Good play by Haig. Swings around, wastes no time. Kicks it up towards the Ficcarelli direction. He gets underneath the football, but he's quick enough to get back. He was tackled, dispossessed. In there too is Van Florenston. Takes his player over the boundary line. Oh, it's a hot footy still. 25 metres out from goal. Left forward pocket, Croydon end. They currently trail by 16 points. 3 straight kicks will do it for them. Doggy faithful have other ideas in mind. The umpire to bring it back in. Big fist away that time by Allen. They've still got numbers. Jimmy Grant, he's just popped up out of nowhere and run into an open goal, and he's pushed it to the left-hand side. Bad mistake there. His chances are going to hurt them, maybe, the Blues this afternoon, as they move on to 13 goals, 10-88, trailing by 15 points now. South Croydon, 15 goals, 13, 101.
Yeah, missed opportunities in this last quarter for Croydon. They're peppering the goals. 16-point lead to South Croydon, and Croydon 13-10. So their accuracy over the course of the day has been fine, but certainly in this last quarter they've missed some chances that were gettable. Wynett.
Good shoot.
Careful kick. Gee, did that well. That was just poise and vision, and then great execution from Brendan Wynett to hit a teammate in that situation. So he found Kimpton. And Lee Kimpton's kicked 2 goals today, and he's a pretty good finisher. Usually a nice kick. We'll know from his reaction. Usually as soon as he kicks it, gives you a good gauge. And on that occasion, he tugged it to the left. So another miss for Croydon. This is costly. 13 goals, 11, 89. Trailing South Croydon, 15 goals, 13, 103. All of the players been in Croydon's forward line in the last 10 minutes or so, but the Blues just cannot kick the goal that they need.
Is there enough in the tank, Pete?
Watching the trend of play, I think there probably could be, but it's very reminiscent of South Croydon early in that third quarter. They peppered away before they were able to kick 3 or 4 goals late in the quarter. Croydon are in the same boat now. They need a goal in the next few.
They certainly do. The ball goes long. That's a 75-metre kick. Stevens palmed the ball down to his teammate's advantage. In and under, the umpire will come in and ball it up. About 75 metres out from goal. There is still time. We know there's still time. Well, we don't, but we do, because they've been long quarters this afternoon. There's a good couple of minutes left. Stevens knocked it backwards to go forwards. Well done by McConnell. Sends the ball forward now. Who's this? Haig, top of the goal square. It could even go the whole way at the back of the pack. Weiner takes the mark and kicks the goal. Oh, it's game on here out of Cheong Park. Beautiful play there by Croydon. They went the percentages, kicked it to the top of the square, fouled the ball, goal. 14-11-95 they moved to. Well, Brad Henderson, we're in for a close finish. 15 goals, 13-103. It's an 8-point ball game out here.
Well, it deserves a close finish, Ben. The game that we've had today, it would be fitting if it does go right down to the wire, because it's been pretty close all day, and for much of the day it's been hard to know which side was going to end up on top. This stage it still looks to be South Croydon on left, but Croydon, they're playing the better footy at the moment. They've just got to convert their opportunities. But now the Bulldogs finally get a clearance. Booted forward by King. Wasn't a push out in the back of Costello. No free kick paid. Callagher over the top there of Dixon. Tries to trap the footy. Well done by Ferraccio, who's had a great last quarter. Gave it to Strawn. High kick by Allen. Big up and under job. Big fist from Wilson. Mallison, did he cop a high one? Seemed to be around the throat. No free kick paid. Crow coughed it up. Fielding did well to intercept the footy. Ferraccio tucks the ball under the arm, takes on the opposition and belts it forward. Callagher couldn't take the mark. He had a fair bit of it. Ball on the deck. Chance here for Zippy. Oh, no! Zippy King kicks a great goal from the boundary. And that is 4 goals for the day for Michael King. And none better than that one.
What a goal, what a goal. Kingy, Peter Baird, that's his forte. God, he would have practiced those so many times over the years out here at Cheong Park. And now on the lush surface, right in front of Can Hill, he did it for the crowd.
Oh, no better place for him to do it than then deep in that forward pocket. We'd have a beautiful view on our camera there from the AFL. Just dribbled the ball when it took the leg break right at the right time, right through the middle of the goal. Fantastic. Probably goal of the year I've seen so far.
Oh, 14 points. Martin some rippers out here this afternoon. Molnar tries to trap the ball in the middle. Does so now after paddling it to himself. Kicks it long in towards the Allen direction, and the big fella comes out. And it's James Crowell actually this time. So 55 metres out, Crowell. It's too far for him to score. He wants to kick it to the hot spot. They want to kick it to the hero. Costello goes up, couldn't quite take it. Roving is Zippy King. Caught one on the neck. Should have got a free kick. It was right in front of the goal umpire. Well, the umpire anyway kicked it to the square. Crowell off the ground. Kicks a goal. And the Doggies are going to get up in their first game of the year. Arndale Cup out at Cheong Park. The last couple of minutes, they've run away with it, the Bulldogs. And what a little bit of play once again. Right spot, ball the ball. We saw it at the Croydon end only moments ago. And this time it was beautiful play by Matty.
Yeah, it was Zippy King at the front and square of the pack. But then, as you said, got the boot, ball onto the boot, roosted it high into the goal square, and it was Crowell who butted up better in the goal square to put it through. I think South Croydon are home now, boys.
Big scores happening around the east. Final scores. Division 2, Roeville 69-point win over Upper Ferntree Gully. In Division 1, Noble Park won by 23 over Balwyn. So it's all happening out in the east, Brad.
It is indeed, as Van Florentine's kicked a great goal for the Blues. He's put it through, waved the arm, and celebrated pretty excitedly there, Cam Van Florentine, but I'm not sure that it might not be too late for the Blues. But anyway, they're giving themselves a chance. That's Van Florentine's first.
Well, he's just trying to get his team up and about. He wants one last rally from these Croydon players, one last tilt at trying to reclaim that Arndale Cup.
Never say die attitude is going to help them throughout the rest of the season. Still, the final scores are coming through. Ben Waterworth working feverishly. Let's work out Division 3. 35-point lead over Baronia. Well, they ended up winning by that margin. Coldstream won by 64 points over Warrandyte. Division 4, 49-point win to Canterbury. And a 28-point lead and win. I keep mucking it up. I'm going to get it right at some point, Brad. Eastern Lions beat Park Orchards this afternoon as the ball's back in the middle.
No worries, Benny, as it's back in the middle. As you said, Thatcher won the tap this time. They converge over the footy. And I noticed that the Bulldogs have sent Alex McCormick back into defence just to help out at this crucial stage.
Loving that the ace is at full forward. Let's just hope they can get it down to him for one more shot at goal.
A lot of players around the footy. Ferraccio sends it forward to Crowell. All wrapped up there. Strong tackle by Hughes. And the umpire on the scene to ball it up, and just a bit of a hush settles over the crowd, almost like the South Croydon faithful are just breathing a little easier now since they kicked those 2 goals in a short space of time. Slattery came away. Nice fist there from behind by Osborne. Well played though by Haag, who's done some good work today. Chance there for Van Florestein, fisted away by McCormick, who's, as I said, has been sent down back to help out.
What a kick by King.
Thumping kick by King towards the middle of the ground. Molnar tries to hunt down the footy, had Allen in support. Molnar gets it back now. Bounces the kick around the boundary. And Matty Crow there very content just to see it over the line.
South Belgrave have beaten Ferntree Gully Eagles today by 40 points. So terrific away win by South Belgrave. Still a 14-point margin here out at Cheong Park. Only moments to go, Brad Henderson.
Michael King, the leading goal scorer on the ground so far today with 4, as Crowell puts the ball over the boundary line. And Zippy King has kicked 4 today. James Crowell and Robbie Mellison 3 each for the Bulldogs.
Looking forward to some after-game reports and also our boundary riders chatting to the winning side. Let's hope we can get Ace Costello if the Bulldogs get up today.
Knocked down there by Thatcher, straight towards the boundary line once again.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Dying stages of this last quarter. And Justin Fitzgerald, the leading goal kicker today for the Blues. He's kicked 3. Back into play once more. Slattery showing some good dash today. Has a bounce. Carries the footy a long way. Got it to Hughes. Back to Slattery. On to Dixon. But Dixon's kick has gone straight into the hands of King, who goes short. And now the ball is with Ben Osborne.
Mitcham have notched their second win for the year, a big one, 204-point lead, and I can't believe I kept doing it over the Whitehorse Pioneers. Another game, a good one too. The Basin big win over Forest Hill this afternoon.
There's a player hurt there for Croydon. It's Nathan Haag, very slow to get up, just being helped up by his teammates. Just got crunched in that contest for the mark. Slattery takes possession again. He's had a good game for the Blues, Ben Slattery. Had plenty of the footy. So 14 points the lead for South Croydon. Certainly don't get the sense that the Blues are any chance of stealing the win here. Slattery to Kimpton. And Slattery ran a little bit too far. As the siren sounds. And that ends a great game of footy, a wonderful way to start the EFL season in Division 1 for 2012. And South Croydon scoring a 14-point win, 17 goals, 13, 115. They have defeated Croydon 15 goals, 11, 101. So South Croydon win the Arndale Cup. They win the 4 premiership points, and they get their season off to the best possible start.
What a game it was out here at Cheong Park this afternoon. Peter Baird, how did you see it? How did the doggies get up? They were met in the third term. They trailed at one point, but they came home with the bacon.
They certainly did. I think it was just their ferocity. They wanted it more. Their endeavour was better in that last quarter. Their tackling pressure all day was phenomenal. Other than that, probably that 10 to 15 minute patch in the third quarter where they were really challenged by Croydon. They really dominated around the stoppages for most of the day, and I'm pretty sure Grant Campbell will agree with that later on when we hear some of his match stats. They were a little bit wasteful in front of goal at times in the third quarter, but when the Croydon challenged, they had the answers in the end. They'll continue to hold the Arndale Cup, and a fantastic way to send off their former captain, Eamon Costello.
Oh, it's going to be Celebration City here at Cheong Park this afternoon and well into the night, and probably tomorrow morning too. Let's cross down boundary side. Natalie Ioannidis has a very happy Ben Delarue after victory 1 for the season, Nat.
Boys, I'm here with the coach from South Croydon, and Ben, was a great win today. Are you impressed with the spirit the boys showed?
Look, it was just fantastic. We probably run out of the bench in the end with a few injuries, but the boys just kept working hard and got hands on the footy. We're probably lucky Croydon missed a couple of goals in that last quarter. we did that in the third quarter. So overall, just wrapped with the result. Good start to the year.
We're all square at half time here. What did you guys have to do to get the momentum back?
I just think we were making silly mistakes and turning it over and probably not working hard enough back. Once we sort of started working hard back and stuck to our structures, all of a sudden the game sort of turned.
And 7 individual goal kickers today, showing depth in the forward line?
Yeah, it looked pleasing, I think. It's probably been a weakness of ours in the past, so hopefully we've got a better structure this year that will create more goals. I think we kicked 17, 18 goals for the game, which is it's just fantastic for the footy club.
And it's handy having the tall forward in Crowell up forward?
He works hard, doesn't he? He's fantastic. So, he's just a workman. He's only young, so I think he's only going to get better, but he was just fantastic today.
Ben, thanks for your time. Thanks, boys.
Thank you very much to Natalie Ioannidis, doing a terrific job on her first day with the EFL Media Team this afternoon, talking to a very happy Ben Delarue. Some other Division 1 scores this afternoon. Well, Norwood got up by 46 points against Blackburn. Look forward to hearing from Daniel Sensick after the game. Another close game, though. Scoresby 6-point win over the Rams this afternoon, so big games there. Well, gentlemen, let's talk about this game a little bit more. We know we're going to go in, we're going to hear the songs as the scores continue to stream through, and we will keep going through them. But Peter Baird, is it encouraging signs for South Croydon moving forward? Both these sides have kicked big scores today, and that was something they struggled to do last season. I know it was good conditions, but it's encouraging really for both sides.
It is. What South Croydon will need to do is take that next step, though. They need to limit the scoring and the damage that opposition will do with them at the other end. They seem to have that venomous forward line there. I think they've found a forward in Crowell. He looks the goods up there. With Zippy King at his feet, they've got that sort of forward line that can challenge some of the top sides. They just need to shore up that defence. Their midfield's okay. Good signs there for South Croydon. Croydon, on the other hand, they've improved from last year. They didn't go away. They continue to fight this game out. I'm sure that. A great game of football, though, and really worthy to watch, to be presented with the Arndale Cup now as we watch the start to watch the match take place.
Yeah, so it doesn't really work as all to plan as we would hope and get our song and then get our interviews afterwards. There is a presentation for the I know Natalie will let us know who takes out the Best On Ground award for that one. Let's have a look at some more division scores around the league this afternoon. Let's go into Division 3. 35-point win by North Ringwood over Baroni this afternoon. 1-point win by Heathmont running over Ringwood in the second half. 104-point win by Mitcham over the Whitehorse Pioneers, so another 100-point loss to the Whitehorse Pioneers. That's 2 weeks in a row. Coldstream won by 64 points, so Matty Price gets his first win as coach down at Coldstream. They would have been happy down there this afternoon. Let's move on to Division 4. 49-point win to Canterbury over Kilsyth. That effort, 28-point win by Park Orchards over the new side. By the Eastern Lions over Park Orchards. The Ferntree Gully Eagles, South Belgrave on top all afternoon, ran out by 40 points. And the Basin, a massive win this afternoon over Forest Hill. They won by 89 points. So, Pete, some interesting results around there. I reckon my tips are going better than yours today.
Oh, I don't know. I reckon my tips are pretty close to the money there, Ben Warren Smith. Just watching this Arndale Cup presentation out there as the president of South Croydon, Steve Kwan, is receiving the cup there from the Croydon president, Darryl Grant.
Yeah, they put on a beautiful day for everybody here today. Supporters from both sides, Brad. I know you will have seen a few Arndale Cups over the years, and this would have the better ones of them.
It's actually probably the first one I've seen, Benny, because of
that's when you pretend.
Because Croydon have always been in Divi 1 and South Croydon only came up 2 years ago, so they haven't had many in recent times.
I suppose, actually, do you know what? I've hogged them over the last few years because every time this size play, I reckon I've come out to watch it.
So the Arndale Cup count now stands at 10 to South Croydon, 8 to Croydon with 1 draw.
Lots of more scores coming in this afternoon. Doncaster got up by 30 points over the Waverley Blues, so their first win in Division 2. Well done to the Dot Boys from Doncaster. The Vermont Football Club, what a ripper match this was out at Vermont. 17-point win over East Ringwood. And the Glen Waverley Hawks in Division 3, they got up. They lost to Churnside Park. What a game this was. 22 goals scored to 17, so massive game by that. So Amon Costello, yes, I'm watching the game, Peter Baird.
Amon Costello is getting cheered off the ground as we speak. He's holding the Arndale Cup aloft. We've loved watching him over many years. He is the heart and soul of the South Croydon Football Club. A little bit sad to see him hang up the boots, Pete. Didn't have the greatest of afternoons, but he always puts in that endeavour, which has just made him such a great spiritual leader and a gun.
A real workhorse-type performance. Nothing flash out there. Attention for that Trojan Workhorse Award there, Ben Warren Smith.
Oh, quite possibly. We will go through our votes shortly, so I hope you boys are on top of it and can give us your 3, 2 and 1s. It obviously is the Narellan Pools player of the day. Another of the scores coming in. Gee, some close games. There's some big scores and there's some close games. Knox get up by 4 points over Lilydale this afternoon. They trailed all afternoon. At half-time, Knox. And they've got over the line to get up by 4 points. So some interesting results across Division 1. We've got all those scores from the Doggies.
Excuse me. Song?
That's a pretty happy bunch down there in the rooms. The South Croydon boys get up this afternoon by 14 points, 17 goals, 13, 115. Defeated Croydon, 15 goals, 11, 101. We want to start the votes? Let's start the votes. I know we will be waiting for another interview. Hopefully Nat can get Amon Costello for us. I know we spoke to him pre-match, but it might be the last time we get to chat to him on the 98.1 airwaves. And he's been a big fan of us over the years, and we've been even bigger fans of him. So let's maybe start with you. Peter Baird, you've got your 3, 2 and 1 for us?
Yeah, I gave 1 vote to Dan McConnell of Croydon. I thought he was fantastic. He marshalled the troops from down behind. He was that rock-solid player across half-back and through the midfield for them. Thought it was a really great game from him. 2 votes for me go to Zippy King. I thought he was inspirational up the forward line for South Croydon. He was there at the forward. He kicked 4 goals for the day. Probably had 2 or 3 other opportunities. Could have ended up the day with 7 or 8. My best on ground, though, I gave it to James Crowell. The big forward leading out. I thought he provided him a target. He straightened him up. He's a fantastic find. Get better.
Well, hopefully someone's writing down these scores, because I certainly am not. Peter Baird, I'm going to throw the ones you did for the 3, 2 and 1. Let's go over to Brad Henderson for his votes this afternoon.
Thanks very much, Ben. Hard to give votes in terms of the 3 votes today. I reckon there wasn't sort of one player who was clearly best on ground or was the match winner. But in the end, I went 1 vote for Dale Bull for Croydon. Very good early. In fact, he was good for most of the day. Won a lot of the footy and gave lots of run and lots of drive for Croydon as well. For South Croydon, I gave 2 votes to Glenn Strawn. I liked his use of the footy today. Yep. Lots of damaging, very damaging by foot, especially early in the game, but fine performance from him. And in the end, I've gone 3 votes for Michael King. The Zippy one, I know he'll have better days than this season. He'll have better days later in the year than he did today. He's had lots of days better than today. But in the end, he's kicked 4. He's probably had 2 or 3 others that only just missed. The 4 that he kicked were all brilliant. And it's the spark he provides, and he does it just at times when South Croydon need it. So I thought he was terrific today on a day where there wasn't probably anyone who deserved. There was no 10 out of 10 players today or anything like that. So he was the best of the bunch today.
Summed up very nicely. Natalie Ioannidis, we'll get you to make your way back to the caravan. We'll probably run out of time to get another interview this afternoon, and we want to get you too, because you were one of the closest to the action. Dyson Baker, he's rushed off to the EFL studios because he's going to be hosting